to lead the way forwards, and who else but Nico? Automatic can get some damage in with this AWP and be a bit tricky, but Olofmeister has it covered. So 10 rounds for FaZe, and once again, they're trying to fight for overtime. And they did it once, they did it on Overpass, and now they're here, they're going to do it again. And you gotta really hand it to FaZe. They have not had an easy time in this series. They've been playing against losing every pistol round, and here's another look at Nico's wonderful trio of kills. Rush unable to get it done. Nico certainly will get it done though. And there's actually a save here from Cloud9. Wow. Their money has been broken entirely.
Look at the impact of that. Well, now you start to sweat. Now the hairs will stand up. Now you start to get uncomfortable if you've got a C9 flare on Reddit. Starting to spread. Preemptive taps from Nico. And that will be a clean one for them. Money for grenades at this point. Of course, they can't lose any more rounds. 4 more rounds for FaZe. Can they do it again?
Deep breaths. Everyone has to get refocused, recentered. As those 4 rounds are not going to be easy to win. This one will be easier than some as they're against pure pistols and no Kevlar. But let's see what Cloud9 have in store for FaZe. Looks like they'll be splitting onto the B-bomb side. That could be what they're going for here. 3 towards top mids. No one towards A at the moment. We already saw this protocol from them, but they try to boost somebody up into the corner and try to play for those mid picks. But once again, it's just too difficult. FaZe can just let them have mid. They lose nothing by giving it up.
Plant the bomb in mid. They got a crossfire. Some kills for Guardian. Some statistics. And it should be buy time for Cloud9. 3 rounds, 2 buys. Do the nerves set in? I mean, all the players you see, or almost all the players you see playing Tier 1 Counter-Strike have been in positions like this before. In a 13-2 position, a 12-3 position, on both sides of the coin, comebacks, trying to stave off a comeback. Does it ever get comfortable, though, for Cloud9 or for FaZe? I think it can't. 3 players top mid for Cloud9. Nico is in the window, smoked off. Guardians towards A for the time being, and it seems like a fast split of the B bomb site for Cloud9, but this smoke is a problem, and Adren's very close to it. Easy avoidance of the pop flash for him, and Olofmeister is delivering on shot.
Q does get that quick kill, close range though, leaving Olofmeister alone, naked on the bomb site to try to delay with that AWP. It's not an easy task, but he does have reinforcements now. This has taken too long for Cloud9, but still there's a fighting chance as Automatic will get the kill onto Olof. Now it's down to his teammate as well, Kishima on the site, but with that kill, Automatic's forced down low to try to get these kills. He will not be able to get a plant with these players so close.
Looking for something, anything. Trying to force issue. He's got to bait these players out. He'll bait Nico out, and Nico will rip his face off. And now FaZe Clan are 2 rounds away. Olofmeister again delivering on a short position, trusting his teammate with the balcony area. Lovely second frag from him. Then buying time, trying to hug the wall, waiting for the rotation to come in. And it's 13-15. Again, it's looking reasonable for overtime, but the statistics continue. Even if FaZe Clan are to win the map, it's always a close score of late, it seems.
And this is really interesting, like the setup for if there's if this matchup happens in the future. Let's say whichever one of these teams wins this one, and makes the run, it wins the following matchup, and then again, like the team that gets dropped down to the loser bracket makes it to the finals. Like it's set up pretty well because Cloud9 won every pistol. We can't forget that they've won every pistol. Of course, the pistol rounds do mean slightly less than they used to due to the economy change. But FaZe have done force buys on their CT sides every time they've lost a pistol, and that just makes that just ruins your economy. So FaZe on their CT sides have always had like these really rough starts, but here they've managed to recover so very nicely. And all they have to do now is win against 1 more buy round and 1 more pistol round. That's all they have to do to get overtime.
This time Guardians in the window. Nico and Rain on the A site. Rain 9 for 20. Not the best game for him. Got to keep your wits about you. He's got good teammates to pick up the slack as well, and they have. Bringing it to 13-15. Cloud9 looking to burst into the B bomb site. Adren is waiting, ready and waiting. With no armor on these players, they will get cut to pieces. Hedgehog in a lawnmower.
Ooh. That HE, it just like bounced against the lip of the window. Imagine if it went in, I think it would have been perfect. Would have lit up those Cloud9 players quite nicely, but doesn't really matter anyway. They are not looking too good here. 3 versus 5 with those Deagles. You know, typically with those Deags, you try to find those opening picks, but once again, you know, this is very similar setup from FaZe. Very passive. You can let the T's have mid. Doesn't really matter. Still have to go onto the bomb site and plant that bomb. And speaking of which, maybe they have the bomb site because we just have Olofmeister on catwalk. And they know when he plays, but they can't find the kill with these measly Deagles. It will not be enough, and that is it. 1 more round.
This is the round you don't want to lose to FaZe Clan. You don't want to come all the way here to lose 14-16. It has been 5 rounds in a row for them. It's been 8 rounds from 9 for FaZe Clan after losing the first 5 in this half. They have taken momentum. They have strangled it, snatched it from Cloud9. And they are imposing their will on the second half of this game now. Olofmeister will begin in the window, and that is a rare pick in the middle window that we've seen in this game so far of Mirage.
Yeah, that's a huge problem for Cloud9. Obviously, you're on the T side, it's not as bad to lose a player, but typically if you lose a player and cannot get a trade, you want to gain some position from it. And okay, they're moving up mid, but this is still, you can see that flashbang comes in. Usually that's going to be indicative of the CTs trying to actually get space there, get peaks there, get angles, more forward angles into contesting mid. And there it is, Olofmeister gets the pick off with that AWP. And now they're 3 against 5.
You're expecting Guardian to be on A when you see Olofmeister in the window, but how do you expect Olofmeister to go from the window to short on Mirage in that period of time? That is pretty damn crazy. That's a huge impact frag from him. That leaves 3 plays for Cloud9, and someone's got to concede position to go and pick up the bomb later on. Less than a minute on the clock, so this is a very difficult spot for Cloud9, and it gets worse. The issues get compounded. Flusher remaining in mid, and now it's Flusher 1 versus 5. I cannot stress how crazy and impactful that rotation from Olofmeister is in such a crucial round.
Wow, and it's clean. It's so clean. And we're going to overtime. FaZe, by the skin of their teeth, managed to keep themselves in this match and chance a 3rd map should they win the overtime. And here's that critical pick from Olofmeister on the timing. The flashbang came in a bit too late, and what a great rotation as well. And his teammates flashed so that if there was someone holding him, his position from chair, he'd be able to take that angle to then make that pick. So great team play from FaZe Clan.
Olofmeister is a goat. There's like a herd of goats, and he's one of the goats. You can pick whichever one you fancy. For now, I'll take Olofmeister. He is my goat. Waiting for overtime to start in the 2nd map of this best of 3 series. I think a lot of us want to see this go to Nuke. I think everybody who's not a Cloud9 fan right now. They are 1 map up at the moment. FaZe Clan will, well, both teams will come into this game, this round with intentions. Now, nobody wants to go 0-3 and face 3 game points or 3 match points, as it may be. FaZe Clan fully invested in this first round. They've gone for double AWPs, which is a gamble. If you lose by elimination in the first round with double AWPs, that's a lot of money gone. A lot.
Yeah, it's not fun. It ain't fun. And here we go. Overtime has commenced. Overtime number 1. FaZe Clan will continue on that CT side. Cloud9, they've been struggling of late to pick up rounds on this T side of theirs. So going with a very fast take of Catwalk. Look at this. The connector is smoked. Window is smoked. They've got very strong forward position there. What is the response here from FaZe? That's the question.
I wonder if Cloud9 were trying to suggest a split of the B bomb site with 1 lurker towards B. There was almost a rotation of a 3rd player towards B from FaZe Clan, but maybe a read that it wasn't what it seemed. Zelf is still playing passive in Palace, and off angle looking for an information play from FaZe Clan, but they've got nobody close. Rain in the sandwich position. Nico with his off angle towards connector. Guardian with the AWP. In CT, 1 minute on the clock, and Nico gets taken down. Rush with a superior angle. And that's minimal to no information for FaZe Clan, but now the bomb has been spotted, and the action can begin.
Yeah, that's a really, really big problem. Guardian by ticket with the AWP is, as long as he has support, if you can deal with the support, you can deal with Guardian. But it looks like actually Automatic will do it, and Kiyoshima, very nice headshot coming out of the gate there as he pushes from Connector. The bomb can go down finally, but good frag coming in from Adren, taking down Automatic by Connector. It is planted towards default though, towards the CT side, and that's a critical frag to defend that bomb in the future. And with the Dren, the last man standing, and that jump, it doesn't look all that likely now for him. The flick comes in from Flusher, it's labored, doesn't look clean, looks awkward, people are jumping around, out comes the USP. Can Adren really do this?
I think he's got to go for this. He has a kit, and now he doesn't have anything else. And indeed, let's just recap. FaZe bought 2 AWPs in that round, and they lost by elimination. So they are going to be in for a really rough spot now. If they lose this round as well, the third one is almost free because they're going to have very little to fight with. So we'll have to wait and see. But for now, they have another full buy. They've got Guardian on the AWP, the one AWP in this round. Will it be another 3-0 half in overtime for Cloud9? It's certainly a good start for them.
Yeah, it absolutely is. That was a really fantastic round. They really mixed things up well. Like the fake to bait out rotation as you just talked about. And here goes a fast A play, mixing it up again. Mix up the pace, mix up the bomb site, and now Rain defending close is doing a good job. Oh, the Wixco coming in, not going to do the job here. Rain still, how is he in that position? Out goes Flusher deep, and he will trade it out. But in comes Adren.
If Adren stands on the bench, he can shoot Flusher in the head if Flusher is standing, but that situation is not going to happen. See the bomb on the ramp. He spotted the bomb now, but he's conceded his position, and it's a free frag for Flusher. 2-0 for Cloud9. And now you await what kind of buy FaZe Clan are going to have. The best they can muster is 3,200 on Adren, or 3,250 on Nico, so this is not going to be good. It's going to be pretty damn ugly. Tactical timeout.
Yeah. Can hear Yanko talking about slowing things down.
No, he's talking about what Cloud9 are going to do. He's saying Cloud9 are going to slow it down because they know they have the advantages and the money's going to be rough and so on. What do you even buy? 2 UMPs, 2 MP9s. Adren hasn't bought anything just yet. Yanko laying out expectation, options, early round, options, mid round, options, late round. It's down to FaZe Clan in the server to execute. 3 UMPs, 2 MP9s, and a reasonable level of grenades. And I think his point about Cloud9 slowing it down, it might be Cloud9 are expectant of, let's say, a pop flash play somewhere from FaZe Clan to try and make up for the shortcomings in the weaponry and so on. Yeah,
and it's always difficult to know because if you have a very drilled team, playing it really fast can be really beneficial sometimes if you have a drill, very drilled around. And speaking of which, they are actually taking some very forward position here on mid, where you could actually expect in a round like this, FaZe to push mid. So Cloud9 not afraid of that. And they are just slowly but surely working more and more position here. And there's a CT smoke to counter any connector control. You have to be really careful if CT's playing over that smoke. Rush will get tagged by a Molotov. Olofmeister definitely knows that he's there. He must. But the question is really for FaZe how they deal with this, because they can't really respond to this. They've got very little utility left to try to retake any of these positions.
Olofmeister on short, the man with the only smoke for FaZe Clan now. 1 minute on the clock. Seems Cloud9 thought it's important. See his, just gonna cut my point there because the way he was lining up the smoke for the top of connector, gonna explain for people at home, but never mind. Now we have a push, a pop flash play, and he will get the kill. Going for the gun as well, back off before they come and trade the frag. And that is a solid smoke grenade. And that's really hard for Cloud9 because the bomb is in B apps at the moment. Celsius, though, I believe, has just walked straight through the smoke, expecting a rotation from FaZe Clan, who don't know where the bomb is right now. And that could be really crucial information. 24 seconds on the clock for this bomb, and FaZe Clan heading towards the A bomb site. That's the only man towards B, and it might just be that 3-0 for Cloud9 in the first half of overtime.
Yeah, FaZe have to go for it. They don't have a kit. They did not buy a kit this round, which really creates a lot of problems here. Cuts out a lot of time for them to be able to do this one. But they, as you say, like this is the last round, they got to go for it. They do have an AK on Adren, so maybe there's a chance here. If someone can get an opening kill, be a chance. There it is. Adren from Catwalk with that AK-47. Opens things up, starts to pressure. They start to dart out of the door in the window. Response is strong from both sides here. Adren looking for that 4th kill with that AK-47. Yet to take any damage. There's no kit though. He's got to go and chase the kill. That's the only way to make this one happen. Automatic does it! Cloud9 pick up the rounds, and now they just need one more moving into the second half. One more to take down FaZe 2-0.
Here we are again. A comeback from FaZe in normal time, a 3-0 half from Cloud9, and lots of work to do for FaZe once again. Check out Mr. Zelsis with these shots. Looking like a good addition for Cloud9 at the moment. Again, Golden still on the in the health ward or something. What do we say? He's away for health reasons, so who knows what Cloud9 will look like a month from now, 2 weeks from now. Waiting for everybody to ready up. 3 rounds required for FaZe. Otherwise, it's a 0-2 loss in the first match of ELEAGUE here this week in Atlanta.
I mean, the cool thing as well is like the versatility of the players on Cloud9, because like one of the strengths of the fact that they've been playing a year almost with just loads of different lineups, it means that loads of players, like loads of the core of Cloud9 have had to like mix up the positions that they play. You know, typically you used to see Flusher playing those positions that Zelsis has been on, like, you know, being the lurker, and they've just found different ways to maneuver their players and ways to mix up the roles that seem to click pretty well. So Cloud9, 18-15, they need 19 to take this match. FaZe must win 3 in a row to force overtime 2 to stay in this one with a chance to win it and a chance to get Nuke as a 3rd and final map in this series. And Guardian will open things up with a quick pick attempt and a fast connector approach here from FaZe.
Again, this is Kiyoshima's playground. The smoke grenade will help him hold on to the position he hears. Grenades being deployed, moving away in case, looking away in case there's a flashbang. But there will be a boost into the window. No one's covering this, and no one in CT keeping an eye on this. So this could be a surprise, but Flusher will take out Rain. What is the response from FaZe Clan? Automatic rotating towards the A-bomb site. Nico playing for information, letting him run out, taking him out now. Flusher moving back into the mid position. Kishima still causing problems. Traded as well.
Good kills coming in from FaZe, now down to 2. Cloud9 as they look to defend the A site, but still the pressure's on FaZe to actually plant the bomb. Big white peek from Zelsis, takes down Nico. High flash comes in as well for Cloud9 as they start to try to push this onto the site, but just still really struggling to get a forward position, but the bomb still needs to go down. They don't have to go any further forwards, but it looks like the peak is caught by Guardian, and Zelsis has nothing else to do but to play forwards, and Guardian's got the angle. Very well done by FaZe.
1 down, 2 to go for FaZe Clan. All eyes on FaZe Clan, I think it's fair to say, to see if they can continue to come back. It's been a series of comebacks for them in this match so far. We'll see if they can continue to do that, or if Cloud9 can close it out. They've got 2 opportunities to do it. Rush will pick up the AUG. Flusher, Zelsis, and Kishima going for the M4A4. Automatic, of course, with the AWP. And the money starts to get low for Cloud9 as they lose the first round in this half. Kishima charging up now. Can he do the same as Nico? The flashbang is perfect for the tease. And Rain takes Kishima down for free.
Yeah, it's not a bad look, is it, for FaZe Clan? But Cloud9 still have some options. It's very difficult. Sometimes you may just think, okay, well, let's just try to gamble it, stack 3 players towards 1 bomb site and see how well that goes for us. At least, let's say, rush deep on Palace. You know, that could be a setup that you could go with, but they're actually playing 2 a site, 2 a piece so far, and that's also a viable way to try to stop this. We saw them in regular time win a 2v5 on the B-bomb site with Zelsis and Flusher, so still trying to work out exactly what FaZe are up to, but they're not in a position to get much information. And FaZe looking to try to go for a push. And they've got plenty of time to do it as well. Making sure that everything's clear before they go in. And as far as they know, there could be players very, very close on that ramp. Sometimes that is going to be the play of the CTs, not this time, but they've got to be careful about that.
Guardian was asking if he should smoke CT on A. Flusher moving close to short. Molotov out for the time being. And FaZe Clan will capitalize on that timing. 3 players coming through connector. Smoke's going down. A shot being missed. That was really crucial. 24 seconds though. There are CCs. That's a massive problem. Zelsis may have just won this match for his team. Big spray from Rush. The bomb is down. And now it's down to a Trent. He is sandwiched. There's the first one, but he can't get a second. And there is the match for Cloud9. 19-16 on Mirage versus FaZe Clan. And they move forwards.
Really, really well played. That was really interesting to watch for both teams. You got to hand it to FaZe just a little bit though, just because they lost all the pistols, and that's really difficult to recover from sometimes. But Cloud9, they played really well, and I love to see how Zelsis is slotted in the team. Lots of cool flanks, lots of really nice holds, some fumbles here or there, but overall, very good impression for me.
Indeed, I think they were the more prepared team. They had the stronger executes, at least on overpass, looking really solid with great timing. And despite the comeback attempts from FaZe Clan, it is a 2-0 for Cloud9. I thought they had to take it in 3. They took it in 2, and Nuke will have to save for another day.
Indeed, indeed. It's time then for a break. We'll be back with The Desk. Stay with us.
Right below West Virginia, country mama. Howdy, y'all. My name's Automatic, and I'm doing a Blaze County Road.
Spang's in the mid position. Cloud9 looking comfortable for now. They've got the slippers on and the smoking jacket.
Robin, why don't you ever look at the camera? What? Why don't you ever look at the camera?
Why did you look at me when Jordan?
Camera's always on me. They know I'm the star here.
It is of little concern because Kiyashima is cleaning house. He's bleaching the toilet.
Just want to let everyone know, 20% discount. Use that code CSGO19. Good for all ELEAGUE merch. And the discount ends Sunday, the night after the championship. Go to shop.eleague.com. Get your awesome ELEAGUE merch today. But welcome back, everyone, to the desk as we have Cloud9 winning in 2 over FaZe, and again, kind of like history repeating itself, which is just something that I did not expect to have happen, but that is the world we live in. You have Golden Boy Moses and Sean Gears here as we break it down. Here's some of the highlights of that one, and gentlemen, some initial thoughts going in to Mirage.
Yeah, just Cloud9 likes to keep these ones close. Right? Like, it looked like, again, they were just going to blow FaZe out of the water. FaZe looked like a terrible team in the beginning parts of this match, and going into the early parts of CT, Jason was like, wow, their CT looks like it's a problem. This is so atypical for FaZe. FaZe win 9 out of the last 10 rounds to get to OT, and then Cloud9 just sweeps them in that first half of OT.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. You can't do this 2 maps in a row, right? You can't expect to have those kinds of comebacks. And even though you force overtime and it feels so very close, just like you know, FaZe just, it's too much of a hole at this level to be putting yourself into. As well, I mean, really good play from Cloud9. I think they started this, what, 4-0 or 5-0 down or something along those lines, and they adjust really well. It's something I brought up that we saw at iMyPower against Astralis. They started similarly down 5 rounds and found a way to adapt and ring up some rounds. T-side also didn't get stalled out, but I mean, even for Cloud9, I mean, you know, as much as we're going to bash on FaZe for going down early, if you're C9, you have to find a way to close these games out.
Indeed, yeah. But taking nothing away from Cloud9, I actually think they're playing very well as a team. I think everyone is filling in their role quite well right now in Cloud9. I'm very impressed, actually. Even from youngster Zelsis to Tim Opping, we haven't really seen that out of much before this tournament. I know we saw it at iMyPower, but everyone's doing very well in Cloud9.
And everyone seems very confident in their roles as well. One player in particular that I want to highlight is Zelsis. We were talking about this before during the game. It just feels like he's fitting this role of like, and which is very weird for a new player and a young player, but they're kind of just like letting him have fun, go out there, do his thing, get the frags, do what he needs to do, and then everyone else around Cloud9 is like filling their job, right? Their job description. It's just, it's very, very awesome to see that.
The other half of that is if you're going to be given that much freedom and that kind of responsibility, you got to live up to it, right? You have to be able to create impact.
And they have that confidence in him, and he does it.
And he's doing it. Like that last round was a perfect thing. A little bit of an exhale there. He's like, oh, good God, 2 overtime matches. But I mean, overall, very good play from Cloud9, from Zelsis. And this was a game Keo played very well. He was a little bit quiet on overpass, but they've got so many good players on this team that you're going to have that kind of dip and come back and rebound in the next map.
But the way that they were able to win, I mean, the same thing 2 times in a row, right? Like going into OT, winning 3 straight, and then it's like, what's going on here?
I can say that I like that. That's a good sign for Cloud9 because yes, they're a young team. They can blow leads, but their experienced players are poised enough to, be able to perform in overtime after blowing a lead. That's very difficult to do, actually.
Yeah, very awesome stuff there from Cloud9. They're going to take that win 2-0. But now, it's crunch time. That's right. We're going to send it over to Smix, who's over at the Cheez-It Grooves Lounge with Zelsis.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. Congratulations, Zelsis. You guys take it down 2-0 over FaZe. And I have to ask, you've had such a crazy past few months. If I told you 6 to 8 months ago that not only would you be playing on Cloud9, but you would be taking down FaZe in a best-of-3, what would you have said to me?
You're crazy. I don't know. Playing with C9, it's great, but 6 to 8 months ago, my focus was just on my past team, so this is definitely a life-changing experience to be on C9.
And the desk was just talking about this particular best-of-3, but we saw an interesting 2 maps where almost the same exact thing kept happening, where both maps, you guys had a great start on the first half, and then for some reason in the second half, you guys just could not close out those last 2 rounds. So let's start with Overpass. What happened there on the CT side?
I think on Overpass, we had like plans going into Overpass that we just didn't do early because of nerves, especially me personally. This is just like my second like biggest event. So yeah, nerves definitely got to me. And then like once I went to OT, kind of just said, fuck it, can we swear? Yeah, I kind of just said that. And then we kind of just went and just did the plans that we went with. And we just got everything that we thought handed into the game in Overpass, and then we just closed it out.
Well, you said F it on Overpass and just completed it and closed it out, then headed into Mirage. Was it a similar scenario where you guys had strategies that you wanted to execute and it just wasn't happening, and then again you just decided to go for it in overtime?
Mirage was actually like different. We didn't really have like set plans, but during like the regular, not the OT rounds, but during like the regular rounds, we just like we didn't get like a lot of spawns on T side that we work with, or like they were just honestly like getting like super lucky with kind of the spots they were playing. And so yeah, I think then once it went to OT, it kind of just handed it to us like overpass. Like we just got a lot of the spawns we wanted. Like they played differently in OT than they were in the regular. Like they weren't like super aggro, or like Nico wasn't getting, or Guardian wasn't getting like a 3K or something. So yeah, it just kind of was different in OT.
Well, I know you just mentioned it, that this is just your second offline event with this roster. You're playing with so many major champions, and they have so much history under their belt. So what has that experience been like for you to not just learn from playing on that stage, but to learn from these veteran players?
Yeah, it's definitely, like, I'm learning a lot with these guys. Each player has obviously done a lot in their career, and so like and then we have like a Swedish Flusha and then a French Kyo, so they have like different perspectives on how to play the game. So I think it brings a lot of ideas to the team. But for me, I haven't really had like a ton of players on in my past teams with experience. I was with a team with Freakazoid and Brax, but besides that, you know, coming to this team with all this experience, it definitely helps a lot.
Well, so far, this start looks absolutely amazing. Congratulations again, Zelsis. We'll see how things go in C9's next match. For now, let's head back to the desk with the boys.
Thank you so much, Smix. You can say that.
Yeah.
We can't say that.
I like how you just saw the wheels turning.
It also
You just
seems
knew
like he
what
was going back over here for permission. I mean, like, you ain't getting it from me, but so you do what you gotta do. But vaya con Dios.
He
Anyway.
was gonna swear even if we said no.
Yeah.
He was committed at that point.
I think he was looking back at you guys for approval. It just wasn't. It didn't happen.
He got mine. I'm in. I'm on board.
Oh boy. Well, yes. I mean, Zelsis, young player coming into this team, working with a bunch of veterans that have had so much success in Counter-Strike, and just, I think, fitting in very well. And he spoke about nerves, but man, I mean, I really couldn't tell in that game. He seemed to be pretty calm. Maybe his head was just spinning.
Even on that last round, I mean, we asked him when he came over here, his rotation on that last round from B, if you watched FaZe gather towards that A site, he was slowly moving from B. He went into the window room, which was a very aggressive play. Then he came through the smoke to get that game-ending 3K. That's a huge play to make from a young, inexperienced player.
And just where that comes from is even said, Flush was the one who kind of told me to cheat the rotation. So Flush reading that play super well. And that's the benefit of being someone with so much skill, surrounded by so much experience, is take the decision-making out of his hand once in a while. Flush is just saying, listen, I know it's coming. Rotate right now, get into position. And he did it perfectly.
They were able to win in overtime, and that actually is going to be your Switch moment, brought to you by Boost Mobile. C9 managing to clutch up in CT despite them not even being able to close out 2 rounds in overpass, win in overtime in relatively, quote-unquote, easy fashion, then does it again in Mirage. I don't understand it, but it's the world we live in, and we gotta accept it.
Especially in CTOTs, it's not unusual for this, because usually at the end of a half on the defensive side, when you're kind of getting ran over, you have so many money issues.
Yeah.
Like, you're missing the nades you want to have a double op set up, and you just can't afford it. You can't save enough. Maybe you're doing a couple aggressive buys because you just feel like you should have closed it out earlier. You go into OT, you got plenty of money, and all the options are available to you.
Yep. Also, I mean, we don't really know the ins and outs here, but Rambo could have easily, noticed something. They had so much success in the overtime, so something changed along the way.
Yeah, 2 times.
Yeah. 2 times.
And that led, once again, to the 2-0 victory for Cloud9. Let's look at the bracket now, get an update on where we are. So much has changed, because Cloud9 has now moved on to Saturday's game, where they will be in the upper part of the bracket, waiting on the winner of Big versus Complexity. And that actually leads me into our next segment, where we want to hear from you all in the chat. You got to let us know who you think is going to win. So you go into the chat right now, you put capitals, wrong thing.
All caps.
All caps.
Shout.
Big or Cole. And just do so many exclamation mark polls, So there you go. So all you got to do is just very simple. Big, Cole. Done. That's all you got to do. Let us know who you think is going to win our next series, because that is going to be coming up next here at the ELEAGUE CSGO Invitational. We want to hear from you, and we'll see you on the other side. that was the thing. Welcome back, everyone, to the ELEAGUE CSGO Invitational. As we look forward to our next matchup, we have Big versus Complexity. Golden Boy Moses, Sean Garris here as we're going to break down the action and get ready for this next one. And if you're just joining us, Cloud9 managed to move on to Saturday's game in the upper portion of the bracket, defeating FaZe 2-0 in some really just interesting games that went to overtime and ended pretty much the same way that they started both times. Very weird. But Cloud9, though, managed to get that victory, and they'll be moving on. They're going to wait the winner of Big versus Complexity. And good opportunity now to transition into this one because, you know, these are two interesting teams here as well. Again, kind of the same theme of this event, which has been teams that have rosters that are relatively fresh and trying to mold it all together before the major that's going to be coming up. Big, Complexity, not allergic to that at all. They're going to be in that same exact position as our previous two teams.
And unlike the other three teams, this will be the first time we've seen Big with a roster change.
Yeah.
The other three we saw at Abba Power last week. Now we'll get to see Lantares. Tear it up. Lantares, God be.
I hear,
can see how he uses him.
I think it's you mentioned it, and I've heard other players mention it, that Xantares in FPL is
you don't want to run into him.
Unbeatable.
Literally unbeatable, especially on cash.
Yeah.
I pray for you if you run into him.
Rat.
Well, speaking of Xantares, we might as well take a gander over at the Big roster here. Got some notable players as well, but Xantares is certainly going to be one of the guys you got to look out for here coming into this one, being that fresh pickup for this roster. What does he bring to the table for Big? What I guess, how does this elevate them higher?
Pure skill. Like,
Yeah,
when this Big roster was established, you have Gabi, who's like one of those most brilliant tactical minds we've ever had in any version of Counter-Strike, so you always knew they were going to have like the play style, the tricks, the fancy stuff down. The question around this team has always been, do they have enough firepower? Are their players going to be able to step up in the tough moments to actually be able to deliver enough kills? And when you put Xantares in a team, it kind of solves that question. You kind of say, yes, now they have the firepower to match the tactics.
There's a very few teams outside of the top 10 that Big will enter the server with now and not have the two top skilled players in the server with Tabson and Xantares.
Wow.
Like, they are extremely skilled individuals. So adding Xantares to the team, I mean, for someone like Gabi who designs incredible strats and their nade usage is so strong, this is just the ultimate tool. Yeah,
like, it's almost like a toy for him. He's like, it's like a shiny new toy that he gets to play with, and it can be very cool results, because I don't think even as good as Tabson is, I don't know if you've necessarily had someone as good as Xantares to just say, go do this, go find me a kill here. Like, wow. what a luxury for someone like him to have. And then you even add Smooya into the mix next, who's become one of the most exciting and impactful AWP players. Not as consistent as you'd love. He's a little bit up and down on the team, especially recently, but when he's hitting that peak, that's a very tough trio to stop.
Yeah, when we saw him in the Challenger stage at the last major, he was actually the #1 statistical player in the entire Challenger stage. So he is the reason why they were able to secure that Legend stage.
So this team was not at the Power LAN last week, right?
Must be nice.
Yeah, so we haven't seen this squad get on the stage and work together here. You know, from recent results. Ooh, sorry, my pen just ran away from me. He just threw me off. With Xantares here. So do you think that kind of gives them a little bit of an upper hand going up against the likes of Complexity here, who may not have a lot of great reference material, given that LAN was last week?
I would definitely give Complexity the edge when it comes to like playing dirty. Like when the round breaks down, that's what I saw them do really well actually at the Power tournament. I was shocked because Stanislaw has this really strategic and structured style, but randomly they would break down completely on like T-side train, and Jordan would just lurk out Ivy, make mid-round call, and they would be very good at that. You know, I don't think Big is very good at that, but I think Big has the edge when it comes to, you know, Gabi having a very good nade-based style, and they have the skilled players.
Okay, and then you actually mentioned Complexity. I think this is a good opportunity for us to show the roster for Complexity. They've also made some new additions as well. Most notable is Nothing. Good friend of mine, Jordan Gilbert. This guy, I've known him for a very, very long time, and it's nice to see him back in the game doing what I think he does best, and he's had some success, you know, as an entertainer,
in my life.
doing his thing.
Sean knows nothing about playing with Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw he put out, was it an interview that he did where he just said, I'm surprised at how much the competition has drawn me back in, because he's been one of those players who's kind of hesitated whether he wants to be done. Yeah, it is a very difficult thing to kind of quit in that sense. And Jordan, I mean, coming in saying it's just going to be a thing for the major, we'll see afterwards. He's obviously a big piece, a great glue guy to have, a great guy for the atmosphere of the team. The other addition, Rika, had a pretty rough iBuy power, if I'm honest, which is a bit scary. But if you look at the other players, Def had a phenomenal London major with this. You remember, these guys are legends as well. Shazam has had a great stretch in his career. He's probably at the top of his game in sense that you can put him in the argument for the best op in North America at the moment.
Yeah, what's interesting about this Complexity team is when I look at them, Stanislaw, the in-game leader, controls all the rounds. Ricky, I know for a fact he likes to control a lot of mid-games, makes a lot of calls. Jordan, always been that player that likes to call and make mid-game reads, especially when I played with him. And I'm pretty sure Shaz does that for this team as well, because he's done it for me in the past as well. And then Def, I think he used to at one point be a secondary in-game leader. So this whole team,
or it could be too many cooks in the kitchen.
There could be. That could be a problem with this lineup. That I'm a little bit
I
worried
think
about.
if you operate under those conditions, it's kind of like whoever says it first. You
Yeah.
just got to go, unless you're like for sure need to call it off. But I mean, if you're gonna have so many people calling out ideas, which is very positive, it's better than having no one communicating.
Yes.
You need to just go with one option.
Well, another interesting thing of note here for this Complexity lineup is that when I looked at, because we had talked about this before, and I think that I had mentioned, like, nothing seems to be playing with a different kind of attitude, and I think that's just because he knows that no matter what, maybe I'm speaking too out of turn here, but, like, he's good, right? Like, if they play really well at the major, then he keeps playing, he's good. If, let's say, things don't really happen and he decides to step away, he's still going to be good. Like, he still has a massive fan base, people really enjoy his content, like, he's still going to be okay in that area. So it almost feels like he's playing with this attitude that I actually kind of welcome.
Yeah.
I think it's good because, you know, whereas you kind of counter that with Zelsis, this young player looking to mold into this roster of veterans in Cloud9. He was saying he's feeling the pressure, he's feeling that moment. And then he got a veteran like nothing. He was like, I'm chilling.
Yeah, I don't think Jordan should feel any pressure, right? Like, he knows that this is kind of like a trial period for him right now in Complexity. And when you watched him in iBuy Power, yeah, he wasn't afraid to make those plays, and he got huge multi-kills for making those plays last week.
Well, I have to say, though, there's been a lot of discussion online. I mean, millions upon millions of people have just been loving the CSGO Trivia Challenge. And I think, gentlemen,
Oh, God.
that means that once again,
Oh, not again.
Oh, here we go.
it's time for the CSGO Trivia Challenge. Round 2, baby. Players are setting up on stage currently, and because of that, we are just going to go into another amazing edition of our Trivia Challenge. This time, though,
Which one is it this time, Alex?
it's the one where we include Bardolph and DDK because they felt so bad about themselves
How
here.
nice of
Thanks,
you
mate.
guys.
Yes.
You guys are the best.
Charity.
This is what you wanted.
Really feel like we just wanted to bring you guys into this. So now we're going to send it over to Smix, who has what the challenge will be.
Sue.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. This is indeed the CSGO Trivia Challenge number 2. We started with Stewie's trash talk from earlier today, and now we are all the way to Xantares. Now, what about Xantares, you may ask? We are measuring the distance between Xantares' head and his monitor. So without further ado, let's pull up the answers. Moses' head, a rooster,
So weird.
the barrel of a desert eagle, none of the above, or all of the above. You guys at home can make sure to play along as well, but for now, let's hear from the guys on the desk. What do you guys think?
Oh, what is a Brahma rooster?
What?
What?
I got that.
Okay,
I
are you
looked it
serious?
up when it came up.
All right.
That doesn't even look real.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
this is a Brahma rooster.
Oh, that's a really elegant rooster.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get a zoom in on
Yeah,
it.
there we go. We got it. It's coming.
Look at that.
That is a gorgeous
Wow. He's
rooster.
got like boots on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he?
Very muscular.
Powerful.
Powerful rooster. Okay. Why a Brahma rooster, though? And also, why am I still holding this microphone?
It doesn't actually work, does it?
All right. We got to pick. We have to pick. You know what? I just think for the ridiculousness of it all, I'm just going to go for the rooster.
Okay.
I'm going to go for the rooster. Oh, okay.
I saw a curveball there. That's fine.
No,
So stay with the rooster.
It's a freaking rooster. Bro.
I'm going to go with the Desert Eagle barrel.
Of course.
So Moses' head's big. That rooster looks big. A Desert Eagle's big. Xantar sits very close to his monitor. I'm going none of the above.
Yeah, I don't like any of this.
Moses has a massive head. I mean, look at the size of this thing.
It's good looking, though.
Bad for his mother. Okay, let's
I've
go.
been told it's a good shape.
It's like a pencil eraser.
I don't know how his feet support it.
James, Dan, what do you got? What do you think?
I like your reaction. Look at the size of the thing. You reminded me of like when they first see the Death Star in Star Wars, and that's that's their reaction.
Oh my God! If we could get someone to Photoshop the Death Star as Moses.
I reckon I could give birth in that gap.
Wow.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Can we add that as an answer? I can't measure it though.
Listen,
I think
we'll be taking
I just want to be the one to say I told you guys not to include Bardolph in this. This is what happens.
All right, you guys got to pick
why we don't
A,
get
B,
good
C.
things.
I'm gonna pick none of the above.
None of the above. Dan?
I don't know about option B and C. Option A, Moses' head. If it was my head, maybe, but not Moses' head. So I'm gonna go none of the above.
None of the above. All right.
Interesting
Smix, what do you got?
answers from all of you guys. Well, I did the honors earlier today. I went ahead and measured that exact space itself. So we have that footage. And time to reveal the answer. And let me just say,
Poor guy.
all of you guys are wrong. The answer is Moses' head because it was 17.8 centimeters. So all of you guys got wrecked.
In our defense, we didn't know if it was going to be screen to nose tip or screen to face. There's
Jason, when do they measure your head?
Listen, Dan, I know you know. It always matters where you start measuring.
Okay.
Wow. I got to throw in the fire over here. Thanks.
You guys asked for this, okay?
Tell you, this is a great segment. We got to do more of this.
Perhaps our best.
Dude, look at it. I mean, that is just the size of. Look at the head. Look at that. There's just amazing. The cranium of Moses. Not only.
I didn't know there was going to be close-ups. I would have polished it today.
Well, that is it
How
for
embarrassing.
the second CSGO challenge. Oh, man.
Do we get to
that
go to
was
break yet? Is anyone on production hitting the red button?
Oh, okay. Well, the mic goes away. It will return for another edition.
Bless it all.
But now let's move on to the map picks and bans for Pig and Cole. All right, let's focus up, everyone. This is game time. It's serious. What do we have? First ban, Pig. They're going to get rid of Nuke. Okay.
And that's a map that actually lost to Cole at the last major, so.
Yeah, not one of us for that one at all. Dust 2 being taken out.
Blown out by Astralis. That was a filthy match.
And
it was
Big
no fun to watch.
Big is one of the greatest teams on Dust 2, so that's a very nice ban. They've been very successful in that. Overpass again to open up the series.
That's weird, though, because Big was historically not a team that really enjoys Overpass.
That's kind of the interesting thing, though, is you get to see what maps teams have been working on. Cash going to be coming out next for Cole. Perhaps wanted to take a little bit of a chance to let some of that individual skill loose, not play it too tactical. It can be very, very crazy pug map. Overpass for me makes sense that Big would want to play it, though, because it can be extremely tactical.
Indeed, and this is where, you know, Big probably historically would be like 50-50 in this. I really have no idea which way they're going to go, but they lost a lot of matches on Inferno 2 Complexity at the major, and yeah, so they're going to go with Train here.
All right. That's a great 3-map series, I'm not going to lie to you. It's very unconventional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you have it. So game 1 will be Overpass, and you can see Complexity there. We'll be playing on the CT side for that one. Cash then goes to Cole, which then Big picks CT side, and then the pick for Big, CT side for Train for Complexity there as well.
I'm thinking if you're Complexity and you want to win this series, I think you have to win it in 2. I don't think Complexity really wants to see Train as a third map. Just that's a map where, like, yeah, the talent is there, but, like, you do have to be very tactical. And if you start getting Xantares in open space and you start getting Smooya behind him on Train, like with that AWP, that can be so deadly. So they're going to have to be very, very cautious in how they play Overpass especially.
Can they win an Overpass?
I think Complexity could win on Overpass, but it's going to be very hard. Big obviously picked this because their utility on the map is phenomenal. I can imagine they're going to go with a lot of A aggressions, a lot of nades. It's going to feel like Astralis when you watch them because they're so strong with utility. And then Cash, like I said, that is Xantares' playground. So
yeah.
I'm nervous for Complexity right now.
Space Soldiers was very good on Cash. That was one of the maps you would always be like, let's just not play him on that. And Xantares was a big part of that.
Okay, well, we asked you guys earlier, who do you think is going to win between Big and Complexity? We asked you in the Twitch chat to vote, and the votes are in. And it is going to be, wow, Big, 76%, Cole, 24%. And I also do want to note as well that in the talent predictions, if you see it on the ELEAGUE Twitter, I am the only person that picked Complexity. Can't go against my boy, Jordan.
Well, have
Gold
fun
move,
with that
Cotton.
one. Yeah, have fun with that.
So let's go ahead and
Weird flex, but all right.
Let's go into the prediction. I'm just saying, if they win, I'm the smartest man in the world. Just throwing it out there. Okay, predictions, gentlemen.
I'm taking big.
Yeah,
I'm taking big all the
I'm
way.
the only one that picked complexity. Let's go into the preview. What do you guys got? I guess I'm gonna take big.
Predictions are public already, people. Like, go on at ELEAGUE TV on Twitter and find it there. But that is this whole segment just went off the rails and it never ever got back on track. But you know what? That is for production to sift through. Now though, we are gonna get ready for this matchup between Big and Cole. Let's send it over to your casters. You got Bardolph, DDK.
Thank you, Monsieur Golden Boy. Now to the sensible men on this desk over here. Obviously, we both picked Big, and I mean, we've got Brexit people on both teams, but I fancied it for Big. What do you think is going to take it over the line for Big here?
I think this is really difficult because we haven't seen much of Big. They're a team that is very good at counter-stratting. They're very strategical. Again, the individual skill they have to work with at this point is pretty ridiculous, adding in Xantares, because Nex was supposed to be... That was kind of like what he was supposed to be, like one of these amazing talents out of Germany. Never quite hit that consistency and that peak that we expected. Xantares, obviously, he has done that. So throwing him into the system, I think, is going to make things really scary for Complexity. I don't think that Complexity will have quite the wherewithal to deal with it, especially along some of the open spaces. I think this T sides of Big are going to be really brutal. So if Complexity can weather the T sides, I feel like they have a chance. But I'm definitely I like these maps for Big over in Complexity.
I think one of the interesting challenges for Xantares is language, because coming out of a Turkish-speaking team, I think that he's probably currently in a situation where he's thinking in one language and then having to like translate things in his head and then talk in another language, and that can cause a delay in Counter-Strike, which may be brutal. So I mean, he can make up for that by shooting people in the face, but you know that's one thing that's likely to be an issue for his team moving forward, but should get better over time. And as you heard, the players, he does play, the guys on the desk, he does play FPL, so obviously that is, I think, a great advantage to people who don't have English as a first language, is that they can get plenty of practice communicating and learning the common call-outs in English and so on.
Yeah, it is a really good point. I have heard that his English is lukewarm at best, and so that is the one thing that can be a problem here for Big. But then it does beg the question, you know, how has that been accounted for with the positions and the roles in which he's been given? Because you can make arguments for all kinds of different positions. You could say, oh, maybe we want him to lurk, you know, because then you keep Xantares alive. But at the same time, even if he's kind of alive for longer and playing by himself, the lurker does need to communicate a lot of information. So it's like one of those things where you keep him with the pack then, and it's just an interesting one. We'll see how it works out. I mean, this is going to be the debut. This is super exciting because, as they said on the desk, if Godby can make this lineup work, like Big could. This is the year where they could cement themselves on that top 8 stage very consistently.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing what they can do. And moving over to Complexity, it's always a joy to see Jordan, despite just chilling out and streaming and so on. He's just got so much natural talent, and I think he's actually one of the unique people who's able to, for example, when he's streaming, explain what he's doing to his viewers and do it at the same time, which is absolutely crazy. I think he's one of the best people to learn from in terms of broadcasting and so on, but it's great to see him as a player in the game once again. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. And when we had the previous match, we spoke about Kishima and the French scene, but we can look at Ricky and the scene from the Oceanic scene. He's here with a mostly American team as well, and he's been doing big things in America for a while, living out of Vegas. Big poker player is Ricky, but he's a very competent AWPer, but he's also happy being a secondary AWPer, being a rifler. Of course, you've got Shazam, who has had strides here, but Ricky will be one to watch as well. So I think there's a lot of stories on both sides, and it's going to be a very interesting series when it kicks off.
The funny thing as well is that these two teams had a very similar performance at the London Major, where they were massive surprises making it to the playoffs, but both teams kind of suffered from the same thing. They both got blown out when they got to the playoff stage. Like, both teams just wouldn't. They were not the same team when they hit that top 8 and were playing playoffs on the stage of the London Major. And so that's another thing I think that both these teams have to break forwards and show in the 2019 that they can overcome, is the psychology behind playing that that level of Counter-Strike. And so that's I really love this matchup. I think this is a great matchup. For me, I just think that the map pull that Big have over Complexity, especially now that we don't have Inferno, which is where actually Complexity had most of their success, we can't forget is those Infernos. It does edge them ever so slightly. But again, new players in the mix. And it's interesting too with Complexity how far they'll go with this lineup. They've got a good core. But sometimes you can just peak with a core and you can't quite get there. And maybe you need to mix things up. We can see here the stats of Complexity, HLTV, world rank, not top 30. I like that rank.
Yeah, just off the cliff for now, but that does not represent the potential of this team. We've got some sleepers in the team, such as Def again. He's somebody who's gone under the radar to the public for a long time, but you've seen that Cloud9 attempted to pick him up in the past and so on. So he's definitely a well-respected player in this scene, and we look forward to seeing what he can do as this match proceeds as well. General statistics for Complexity, one of the oldest brands in American esports at the very least, and we move over towards Big, one of the newer brands. But with some of the older players, of course, Godby 31, maybe the oldest player in this. Well, no, he definitely is actually the oldest player in this particular tournament. The most experienced, and he continues to take that experience and use it to his advantage with this team.
Yeah, it's definitely really interesting to see how the development has been, because they've had almost a sordid past in some respects as well, because there was that period of time where they came out of nowhere with this teams, like one of Godby's new teams, and it was mostly German at that point, and they had this spot where they were using this bug that no one else knew about. It's like this crouch jumping bug to allow you to get free peaks and so on. And then when people kind of figured it out, they kind of just disappeared, and it kind of, I wouldn't say like hurt the reputation overall, but it's kind of like that original dominating Fnatic lineup. People saw them as villains a little bit.
It's like short-term gimmicks, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like win normally, I think is a perspective of people who would be on the receiving end of that kind of thing. So now it's proving ground for them, perhaps. And we are about to start this game on Overpass. Complexity will be starting on the CT side. You've got the bro fists being delivered by Complexity, and I'm sure Big are doing the same. So lots to play for. And we haven't even spoken about Smooya. I'll quickly squeeze something in. Obviously, he is 19 years old, and I think he's at that stage where his emotions can get the best of him, based on results, I would say. At least he's vocal on Twitter, so we've got a lot of growth to see from him. But he's a very capable player, very smart player, strong sniper, which I'm sure we'll see on Overpass.
Here we go, Big versus Complexity, map 1 here at the ELEAGUE Invitational, and we're kicking things off here on Overpass with Big on that T side, and Complexity is going to be Ricky, who's got himself a kit and 2 flashbangs, and this setup is looking to deal with a quick B rush, should that be the play, and it looks like it will be.
4 players focusing on B. Smooya to cast the rotation in connector. We've got players in the CT water. Ricky will get the first kill. Taps taking out Stanislaw soon to go as well. More flashbangs being delivered late, and more flashbangs. And the kills are raining in for Big, leaving Def and Shazam. And there's still more flashbangs. All the flashbangs in the world. 4 versus 2, strong position for Big, and it gets stronger with Def now as the last man standing. And this is going to be a very rough position for him. Taking one in the face, taking another one, and there's some big shouts on the Big side for a big pistol round from Big.
Yeah, great start from them. Complexity had a setup that was designed to deal with the fast B play, and they couldn't hit those initial shots. And it does get very difficult on the CT side as the Ts are rushing in at distance and closing that distance, if you don't actually manage to get that quick 1 or 2 shots off to take a couple players down, and at least make it a bit more difficult for those Ts to close the distance even further after they get the plant. So we'll see now whether or not their Complexity on that 3rd round can get things going for themselves. But this is where Big really shine. When they win that pistol and they can dictate the pace heavily, that's something of a specialty of theirs.
Some error with the flashbang there. Just watching on the map, Big moving into the B-bomb site as Xantares entry. Nobody's there, but he gets team flash, though. As you can see, maybe a communication issue or something. Again, going back to the Cloud9 execute that we saw earlier on. Great timing from the flashbangs. So as a comparison, this is a good round to have a mistake like that. You don't want to have that happen when it's buy versus buy. Something to look out for as these rounds continue. He's playing for exits now while Complexity ringing the bell of Xantares, but they may not steal a weapon away from this round.
Smooya looking to get some cash with that Mac 10. Of course, you get extra money from some of the SMGs. Ooh, Shazam will take him out though. Shazam, a player that I know Sean always talks about how good his pistols are. So it's always something I look out for whenever I see Shazam. But it's not going to do too much. He won't be able to recover any weapons. But here comes the buy from Complexity. And we would expect Shazam to likely pick up that AWP. He would be unable to buy anything else with it though, and we'll actually get a pause here. A technical timeout has been called.
Over past the first map of this series, Big have a 71% win rate over 7 maps in the last 3 months, and Complexity have no maps recorded in the last 3 months, which maybe raises questions about the strength of the map pool if this is the first map in the series. Maybe this means that they have to win it in 3. Maybe they've been studying it and will surprise us. We will soon see after this technical pause. 2-0 for Big to start with. Very good start for them, but very early indeed.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting to see exactly how things pan out for them, you know.
Well, there you go.
Oh, wow.
Jason's head as the Death Star.
Nice, I like it.
That's a snug fit.
Goes very well with the pink shirt.
Sorted out the eyebrows. I respect that. It looks like almost like it's...
Look at the size of that thing.
It almost looks like he's Jewish, and it's like a styled yarmulke. So, there we go. Congrats, Jason. You are now a man-made planet, I suppose. I'm not sure what else to say about that.
Yep. Would have been perfect with the sound bites as well. Those classic Star Wars sound bites. Either way, going back into the state of the game, as we should hopefully be resuming things sooner than later. Big are in a fantastic position, James. They've kept the weapons they had in the previous round. They're going to have full utility. We're going to get to see the kinds of setups that they want to try to break what Complexity will have, which they can presume to be full rifles, which it will be. And Shazam, I would like to see him get AWP, even though he won't be able to afford anything else afterwards. That would be, I think that's on Overpass. I think it's just really critical, especially if you don't expect the T's to have an AWP. And at this point, it would be very unlikely from what Complexity understand of this match so far that they would have one. So that would be an advantage. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, what you would expect from Big typically in a round like this is a fast play. Some kind of set piece. You know, you wouldn't want to throw it in straight away. You would play a safe default, try to get Suez control, then maybe try to go for it. But we shall see.
So Shazam has... I was wondering about this actually. CT teams who are going to buy in round 3 if they lose the pistol, if they'll have their sniper make sure he can buy an AWP no matter what, and that is the case for Shazam, who has exactly 4750 in the bank.
He only has that money because he managed to just about scrape that last frag with that PT1000 last round. So it wasn't guaranteed. So we'll have to see if... Because that's a really good point, actually. It may have been the case that they were always thinking that he wouldn't be on an AWP in this round. So that could be quite curious, because if he doesn't have an AWP, they can play a lot more aggressively as a team. Like maybe like a 3-man push fountain or something early round. Something like that could be in order. Or even a push, a 3-man setup between Suez and Monster is also something that you can try to go for. Get 2 players into Suez. You can throw a flashbang over for then the third CT to push Monster, and then try to kill those players who are waiting outside Monster, who are blinded. And then if there's no one there, you have a fast rotation still to A. So
Big have, I think they probably have the youngest player in Smooya and the oldest player in GOB on their team in this tournament. And while we have a pause here, we're going to have a feature from GOB and the run up to the Boston Major. Check this out.
This kind of place was the foundation of GOB, I would say. Kind of the starting of my competitive career. When I was start playing soccer, I was seeing myself as a normal player. But after a few years, I was leading the team. I learned how to handle certain problems in a team. I think it's very important to learn that as you are young, because then it follows you. Being the in-game leader means a lot for me. I can be the guy to explain to my guys, to my team, what you need to have to being a champion. A lot of young players come to me and ask for advice. It just shows me that everyone knows how important the in-game leader is. I'm very happy to be the guy who they look up to. I love Frankfurt because, first of all, I grew up there and have a lot of cool memories. And also, I think the city is really beautiful. That's a really special place for me. I started my Counter-Strike career, or the first steps were there.
Now we go to the place where I started to play Counter-Strike. It was an internet cafe, but now it is a barbershop. The internet cafes are closed, but doesn't make me feel really old. It just makes me feel like I was there from the start of the game.
So.
Seiten kürzer ein bisschen, vielleicht ein bisschen kürzer. Hier siehst du, das ist ein bisschen zu lang hier. Back in the day, it was not like I had a big dream or so to become a pro player. So I was just like having fun playing. I started to figure out that I was not bad, but I wasn't good also. I knew if I would work hard, I would be good. Then I started to come more often here. So, and I was learning and I was getting better and better. Dankeschön, vielen Dank.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Being back in Frankfurt, my whole family, friends are coming over. We have good family dinners.
Let's go.
If I'm back home, I'm obviously not got B. I'm every time party, and it's just like all about being yourself.
He was always really ambitious. When we were little, he was like 3 years old, and because my bicycle was bigger, so I was faster, of course. But he was so ambitious. He wanted to be the first.
So, Anne, dachtest du, dass ich meine ganze Zeit mit Counter-Strike verschwendet habe, oder dachtest du, dass ich da schon was Ordentliches mache?
Nein, Anfang, wo du angefangen hast, habe ich mir gedacht, das machst du nur aus Spaß.
Mhm. Ähnlich wie Papa also, ne?
Ja, genau. Aber dann später habe ich bemerkt, du bist das sehr intelligent und sehr klug und ehrgeizig. Machst du das ganz toll.
Hast du schon Vertrauen gehabt dann, ne?
Ganz voll.
It makes me obviously very happy that they are proud and they are really supportive. They became very big fans of Big.
So, was sind jetzt eure nächsten Ziele?
Ja, das nächste große Turnier ist halt das Major.
Ja.
Ja, das ist auf jeden Fall so das wichtigste Turnier für uns.
Qualifying for this major meant that we needed to be legends. Every opponent got stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah, in the end, we needed to play against the strongest opponent, SK. I felt like I have the game plan to beat them.
This is amazing. 3-0. Bobby, amazing the pip.
And yeah, after beating them, it was just like the best feeling. I know we can surprise again. I know we can be a better team than we were 5 months ago. We will be really ready and being the best team what we can be.
While we wait for these technical issues to be solved, we will take a short break. Stay tuned and we shall return shortly. See you soon.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. We have word that the stage is ready for the performance to continue. The games will be back here on your screens. Big versus Complexity. It's going to be pretty damn awesome. I'm pretty happy that we got that solved so we can get back into this chase, because I've been speculating pretty significantly as to which way this is going to go, and the start of the match is going to be very telling.
Again, we have Shazam naked with the AWP in the first buy round for Complexity on the counter-terrorist side. 2 orgs. We saw, I think, 1 at most in the previous match at any one time, and now we see 2. They've doubled up, Def and Ricky. Going for a boost, a massive humanity looking towards a short B position, but nothing doing just yet. Tabson is very passive towards B as Big creep through the connector position with 2 players in tow. Smooya peeking. I think Shazam may have seen the bomb towards A, and now they start to burst out of the connector position, and suddenly there are 4 players focusing on the A area for the T side. Shazam have a very common position which allows you to catch people outside the connector and the divider, but these flashes just force him all the way back.
Yeah, it's be very troublesome here to hold, should they go for the full execution, but it does look like Complexity do have the body starting to be in a good spots to hold this. It's going to be quite interesting to see whether or not Big will commit. They got so much time. You can see that how reactive Complexity are being. Complexity are going to be in a spot soon where they might need to make an information play if Big just sit on where they are right now. That would actually, I think that would be the master stroke. Just play very passive from this position forwards. See if Complexity go for an info play. Get a catch on a kill. Here's the information play coming in from Def as he moves forwards. A flash can be thrown for him to peek with potentially, or he can just hold that off angle. He does have Shazam holding his right as well. So this is going to be very, very close. Def keeps pushing forward. So he's getting a timing. Oh no! Def gets 2. They had grenades in their hands. They were supposed to be holding him, but they are unsuccessful.
And just like that, it's a 4 versus 2. Godby around the smoke in a long position. Smooya moving up on his own with the bomb. He's got a planted for connector. Godby trying to clear the site though. 12 seconds, the bomb's got to go down. Beep, beep, it begins. And he's trying to come back. He comes off the bomb attempts. Smooya, and nothing takes him out. No bomb plant for Big in that round. I thought Def might have dropped a smoke grenade outside divider when he saw that nobody was there, but I guess he was going for potential flank or whatever, but he killed 2 people and broke Big's push, snapped it, took it to pieces, and now Shazam can buy Kevlar with his AWP.
That's so awesome to see, just because, you know, it's you can't just sit there and be reactive, and obviously Complexity made the right moves, and then eventually realized that they had to go for that info play. I think Big should be able to hold that though and expect it. And the fact that they didn't cost them heavily, and the 2 AKs here with the pistols, and only 3 grenades. 3! A smoke and 2 flashbangs. That is not a lot to work with. We'll have to see if they can somehow get something out of this, but right now Complexity are looking really strong, and that's a timely smoke to deny any pick there from Xantares. And Big will creep towards bathrooms. Hello, Shazam! It's going to get out of dodge, but he won't. Shot in the side of the face, and he will go down.
That's a big pickup for Big, no pun intended, because obviously they have shortcomings in there by 4-on-4, and they've got a nice upgrade for Tabson. That's got to be, once again, is at the front of the site. The H-Shooter takes half of him away, and the Molotov will force him from his position yet more. He has no idea where to cover is. He's losing almost all his life. Jump peeking down long. I don't know if he saw that player. So there is an angle to be had for Def, and as the bomb hasn't been planted just yet, this is very difficult for Godby. You seem pretty spread out now. Tabson's making his way towards the site, but Xantares is still in connector, and Tizian's going towards B to find out what's going on, but there's a long time to stand in these positions and do this. However, Godby continues to deliver. An in-game leader who frags. A rare find, but he's a diamond in the rough.
Bomb does go down, nothing will spring up the stairs. This is going to be quite difficult. Oh, Xantares with 2 quick headshots, denying the retake with ease. I thought there was a very strong chance with that forward position from nothing, but no. And now Stanislaw just has to hold onto his gun. That's the best he can really do and hope for. So really well played by Big in this round. By Godby in particular, as you said, James. Just the fact that he was able to deal with such an awkward situation with such low HP was pretty impressive.
Xantares is, well, looking dangerous already. You heard the warning from Sean. Xantares and Tabson will survive, it seems. So after a technical pause, it's an explosive start to Overpass, and I think this will be very interesting, and we haven't even got to cash yet. 3-1 now. And Complexity will force buy after being reset in the first round that they've won so far. Shazam down to the scout. You can see a look of focus from Nothing. He's missed his competition. But he's only got a PT50 for this round.
PT50 and a very well-groomed beard. Well-bearded groom, I was about to say. But here we go. Santaris looking to get the open up if anyone was to peek. There's a smoke just pushed in front of it. And somehow Nothing is alive. I don't know quite how, but he is. With that P250, and he might just get a kill. Oh, and he does. The headshot there on tabseN as he's running around blind here. And it looks like Big will try to open up the bomb site with GodB and Santaris as the tools in which to do so. But it is a struggle amongst all of these smokes to do so.
Santaris 7-4-1 at the moment, but Shazam will make a 7-for-2 with the scout. Big headshot from him, and there's a man advantage, but Complexity have so many players who are made. They could fall very quickly indeed. Stanislaw sent off of the bomb site. Dev still around the back. Big have the time to try and thin these numbers out. They don't have bomb plant pressure, which would be risky in this situation. There goes Nothing. That leaves two players, a FAMAS and a CZ. This CZ could be very dangerous if Dev can find an opportunity. He can move up the slope where you would often find Zipex. Actually, Ricke's in that very position. Even if he goes down, they may not look for Def there. There's a chance he does, but he won't get anything out of it. GodB will eliminate him, and it's 4-1 to Big.
Really nice stuff from them. It did look kind of scary with those smokes down at one point when everything sort of slowed down and there was all the time in the world for the rotation, but they managed it well. And now that's going to be so painful. Complexity with no money to really work with. Always a sad story on a map like Overpass. And it's going to be kind of difficult to find a way to get value out of this. 3 USPs and a couple P2000s. Perhaps they can find a way to steal a gun from a setup. We shall see. Big one of the teams that do have pretty strong anti-ecos and drills for those. There's a lot of great options on this map for such a round. And looks like they may go with it. Typically, you'd like to just play most players up long. It's very easy to move as a unit there. And the pistols can't really do much against that.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well, if it's going to happen, it's better it happens now, better it happens early. I'm sure that things will get better for tabseN as he continues to warm up into this match. No harm done. He'll continue to lurk outside the B bomb site while Complexity focus on A. We've got some close quarters players towards the right-hand side. Santaris, if he moves too close. Okay, we've got a pop there, but doesn't quite reach the mark for these players, and they will get the superior trade there. Bombs on the floor, but Tizian will clean up the rest. They'll sweep Complexity into the gutter as we move into round number 7.
Into the gutter. Yes, looking like a really good start, but finally we can have a very, very solid buy coming out of Complexity. They have the AWP, they have the grenades. Actually, they don't have too many grenades on Shazam. It's actually not a full amount of utility, so maybe not as good as I thought. And Rikke doesn't have any Kevlar, and there's only one kit. Actually, it's not.
That's got to be a mistake.
It's not quite. I mean, he dropped. Did he drop the AWP or something? I'm not sure.
I do wonder because if he didn't, I wonder if he's even aware that he doesn't have Kevlar. Because otherwise, I mean, he should be AWPing if they know. They're both snipers, right? It doesn't make sense that Rikke rifles with no Kevlar and Shazam AWPs with no... Okay, whatever. Shazam gets the first frag and falls back. And that'll slow down any approach towards A, but no one else is really in position. The bomb towards B with tabseN, Tizian and Connector. And it does look likely that it will be an attempted split of the B bomb site. But... there is a heightened focus now towards B for Complexity. 3 players in as Big started streaming through Monster.
Yep, tabseN opening things up here. The first man in. Nothing to really worry about. The players are lurking in the water, and that's typically the position you want to hold on to as the CTs, as it allows you to have a base of operations to get your teammates in on the rotation. If the Ts can take this position, it can often be too difficult to get back in. And we'll see the legs spotted out from Stan, but he can't quite get the frag. Shaz with that boost, also unable to find the frag, and with those opportunities gone, there may not be too much left to do, but they'll still make it happen here with the 1 versus 2 from Shazam. But Smear's looking, and he's going to find 6-1, and you can hear the nice boys in the background. As Big are very hype
I've played on Overpass with Smooya before, and it's just fun. Obviously, it's not a professional match, but it's still fun to watch a player play live with him and see his decision making. He's very comfortable around the pillar with an AWP on either side, so that might be something to look out for as this proceeds. Some frags from him there, and 6-1. It's a monstrous start from Big, and this can't be fun for Complexity just yet. Back on the pistols once again. Limited, very limited success. Instant reset with the one round they won, and that was quite early on as well, so can't read too much into the success in that particular round. 4 AKs and an AWP. Anti-eco territory for Big, and it starts well with Stanislaw getting picked off.
Yeah, that's really encouraging when you're against the pistols. And okay, everyone's dead. Shazam with that pistol in hand gets another dink, but that's him gone. 7-1, very fast 7-1, I must say. He's like some teams. Sometimes you find it where you have two teams that will play fairly slow, and then you'll have really drawn out rounds on Overpass. But these have been very quick. Double up comes in now. Shazam and Ricky, a much better buy here for Complexity. The best looking buy that they've had, and we're into the 9th round now, so they better make this work.
Shazam and Ricky with the AWPs this time. Shazam going through the toilets, Ricky going towards the B bomb site. 3 starting on B. Big don't look to be overcommitting to anything just yet. 2 plays, 2 connected though, so they'll quickly have the short B position with the smoke down, so maybe they will commit to B faster than expected. There's a smoke down on Monster, Gobby's lurking with the bomb, but only Smooya is headed towards A at the moment. Battle sniper Smooya doesn't see anything, and he will go and join his teammates towards B. So we're looking at a 3 versus 5 situation as Complexity starts to creep in that short B position. Easy frag for Tiz. He's ready, trying to force these players back, and now here comes the charge. Zantares and Gobby through Monster.
Yeah, this is not looking good here for Complexity. Ricky falls back. Stan holds close by the pillar. Tries to get into the water, but he can't quite escape. No headshots coming in from Ricky. Zantares too strong with the headshots himself. And now they'll hold on to a 4 versus 2 advantage with the post plant. And there's not really a world in which Complexity can reliably retake this bomb site, so they will just have to hold on to their guns. And they've not really had many rounds, James, where they've had a good buy. So they need these guns.
Yeah, it's been few and far between, and I agree with your sentiment as to the pacing of this Overpass. This is one of the faster ones that I've seen in the last year or two. Very fast pace. I don't think we've had a tactical timeout just yet. And I mean, this deficit has grown so quickly that maybe one is in order for the Complexity side. What is going on? How can we change things? What are we expecting? So on and so forth. Def and Shazam will survive. About 3,500 average across the team, so I don't think they'll buy too much around these weapons. More important to keep the money together, but I'm sure they'll try to get Shazam in battle sniper mode. He doesn't have a great spawn to go for a peek towards bench, and indeed it is a tactical timeout that has been called.
That second kill from Zantares was nice. That's just crosshair placement as well. It's like nothing fancy. And that's what I like seeing sometimes from players that are like from a raw skill angle as good as Zantares, to just see that, yeah, their mechanics are on point as well. So they kind of cover all the bases. And indeed, 8-1. It's, as you say, you just mentioned it. I don't think we've seen the tactical yet, and boom, there it is. And Complexity have a lot to mull over, and it's honestly the style of play Big are throwing at Complexity, so they're bullying them really hard at the moment, and it's sometimes it's hard to get a grip on, if you're on the side of the victim, it's hard to get a grip on the situation.
Well, we see an AUG has been, oh no, the AUG was there already. It's the UMP, which has been bought by nothing. Again, it's the maximum loss bonus, so they can afford to spend a little more. Complexity. And Shazam has indeed, of course, gone into a very aggressive angle towards the A bomb site. But again, it's basically 5 people heading towards B, this time against 2 players. And that's nothing taken out immediately. That was the better weapon, Stanislaw, with a CZ behind a smoke. But Big won't overcommit. They do not know what lies behind them. Could be wondering that exact question, literally, covering the 6.
Yeah. Nothing's peak was really good. If you ever go back and watch this demo, watch the spacing he uses, because he actually had, he saw his opponent first, and that's how his peak was designed. If he had a rifle, nothing would have got that kill, for sure. But the UMP has a very slow rate of fire, and the dink doesn't do quite as much damage as some guns. There's a good attempt from nothing. Ooh.
I wonder, was he looking at the radar, or maybe he just lost the duel? But that's not expected. Now we have a second player in the B bomb site, and it is, of course, Shazam with the AWP. So suddenly things have got a lot more difficult for Big, and they're playing the clock, but it's their advantage they're losing, because if they have to make an error adjustment, then that may be costly for them. Stanislaw completely blind, and now Shazam really has some work to do.
Yeah, he's somehow managed to survive. Smooya actually hit him down to 12 HP, so... Oh, the scope! Oh, it's very unfortunate timing, and that's the bomb site now there for Big. 2 versus 2, though. This is still doable. Rikke will upgrade to the AK-47, and Def is well and truly locked out and short, and that's quite difficult, but he can flash out for Rikke. He's setting it up as Rikke goes in for the play now. Can he make it good? Yes, that's very nice, that connection. Oh my goodness, he gets himself a follow-up as well. That's beautiful. You love to see it. Def sets him up and he knocks it down.
Man like Rikke. And yeah, Complexity get another round on the board, need to avoid the reset. And that's the power of Rikke as well. Very, you know, obviously by trade he is a sniper rifle player, but he is very, very good with the AKs, the M4s and the AUGs as well. So he's quite happy to be a secondary AWPer. And that's something that they don't need to depend on, because he is so good with those other options as well. So that's a strength of Complexity, but now they need to win that consecutive round. 3 AUGs and the AWPs, 4 scopes on the CT side. Will it be enough?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see the style that Big are playing, because they don't give you too much time to react, which is what I really find very cool. And they also give themselves the opportunity to slow things down very drastically and like really throw off the other team, who's then begun to adapt to their pacing. So Tizian now in towards the connector position, clearing that with the help of Smooya with the AWP. Can open the door for a quick peek towards the short positions. And this is, yeah, Rikke, he's gone for that big flying through monster. It's quite risky. I imagine nothing would have thrown a flashbang over.
Actually, nothing went with him, and it was thrown by Stanislaw. And they've left Rikke in position, and nothing has fallen back, since they don't really have info towards short B. So that's a lot of information. We've still got Def in a forward position around the toilets. As the smoke starts to dissipate, he will play rifle support for Shazam, moving deeper inside the toilets while Shazam focuses on the outside.
Rikke, how far does he go? Sometimes you have to trust your teammates and just hold. If Shazam gets a kill, they may very well go back towards B. He will whiff the shot, though, and smokes down. That is a smoke that popped at 49 seconds. That's not going to go away until about 32 seconds on the clock. So that's significant. That's a significant delay. Ooh, the push comes in from the back. Rikke finds his timing, takes down 2. That is really bad now for Big, because they have only 30 seconds to get to that bomb site and get the plant in.
Yeah, they are at the point of no return, because the bomb is on long. No rotation towards B. And now it's Tabson, the last man to get punctured by Shazam. Shot in the chest. And there it is. That's what Complexity needed, that consecutive round. 4 players surviving. Great forward play from them. Perfect timing, good decision-making by Stanislaw. And a nice setup, the pop flash through Monster. Nothing supporting Rikke, so the trade was there if necessary. Leaving Rikke in situ. And he has just a tower of matter to destroy. Send him into a black hole. Never to be seen again. Holograms.
Yeah, and the sheer amount of time he had to make those 2 kills happen as well just speaks to the strength of that flank timing. So, just a quick smoke over the bin as usual to just create the question for the T's. That behind that smoke you can push towards the party area. Obviously they haven't this round, but now we have to have more pop flashes, we have to have more time taken by the T's. And it gives you more space as the CTs to set up around the map. Suez will be taken by Big meanwhile. You see Tabson, he's actually looking for an entry onto the side. Looks like he's quite committed towards it as well. He really wants it. He's gonna, he spots the back of Rikke. He's gonna go for this! And Rikke turns around at the perfect moment. And that's he's gonna feel like that was a robbery, Tabson.
Yeah, he had maybe 3 opportunities to fire a bullet, but he wanted to make sure that he would be able to get the kill there. I think second opportunity, there was enough for a spray, but either way, opportunity lost. Complexity starting with 4 players in the B-bomb site. They are expectant. They are being very active on their CT side, which is great to see. They need to be, considering the current situation. There's Shazam in that same position, catching players coming out of connector in a risky situation where he doesn't have that rifle support. Common position for snipers. Again, you can flick somebody if they make it to divider. But anyway, 5 seconds, and Xantares is on long. Gets double dinks by Stanislaw with the AUG. And now we've got more issues for Big. 2 versus 5. Molotovs, more grenades, just warding them off. Gobby taken out, and Smooya will have to run away and try to hold on to this AWP.
Run, Forrest, run. Indeed, it's quite the commodity. He's the guy actually that's the poorest on the team. Don't want to be throwing around $6,000. Throwing away, I should say. So Complexity look like they have really gotten back into this one now. And you wonder if Big will begin to mix things up. They've still got enough to buy, so he can keep himself alive. Looks like he will be able to do so. It'll be cool to see a change of approach now from Big. This is very unfortunate for Tabson.
Spot 1, spot 2, and not the third.
And that's the quite. He's going to feel like that was a robbery, Tabson.
That's good commentary from you there, James.
What have they? Yeah, it sounded like that's like, wait, what's going on there? Put the cash in the suitcase and leave it outside the laundromat. 4-8, favored for Big in score. They still have money to buy, and soon they will. Freeze time has gone. Got some talking from Gobby. All right, he's barking specific orders at everybody. You go here, you go there. Mentions of A, mentions of Underground. Smia continues with the AWP save. Tizian down to the Galil. But the unit is together, and that's the important thing. Molotov deterrent, but Rikke gets tagged. Smia says no.
Through the wall, no less. Oh dear. Yeah, it's just going to fall right back after that one. And set up towards long from the A sites. And Big will have the bathrooms for free. The water closet. That's an American accent.
The water closet?
Yes, that's what WC means.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I had no idea what that
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh.
I don't know what the accent was, though.
It's actually,
it was an American.
It was an American accent. It was really good.
1 minute on the clock. Complexity still with 3 players towards the B-bomb site. They often trust Shazam with A on his base. He's over towards B for now. We've got a boost for Stanislaw. He'll leave Xantares with 1 HP, a single digit of health. And with an AK, that can still be very dangerous indeed. Smia spots a player falling back from that long position. But what is the decision now for Big? With Xantares low, they'll put him on the AWP because he can't take a duel with 1 HP. But he can take 1 shot and blow somebody up. 35 seconds, and the bomb's in connector. Where is it going?
Yeah, time is of the essence. And we talked about them switching up the pacing after playing really fast rounds, and this is indeed the other extreme end of the spectrum. Very slow. The flick, it's good. Xantares will nail down Stanislaw as now Big start to move towards B. 18 seconds left in the round, but they need to account for the time upon the bomb as well. Depth with a transfer, not very good. Only 1 apiece. Smooya closelining the defense there as the bomb goes down in the nick of time, and Rikke will escape. And that switch for Xantares with the AWP, that was just fantastic.
How about that? Rikke now moving away. This time they've got 3 rounds in a row, and they've got the money to buy again. But everything you can save, always important on the CT side. More expensive to buy than it is for the Ts, traditionally. And here we go, Big move to 9. They've got the potential for 11, so it's already a great half for Big. And it can get greater. Gobby still talking to the team what the situation is, setting the expectations for the rounds to come. Fantastic in-game leading from him, keeping everybody focused. And here is 1 HP Xantares with so fast. Lantares, as Sean says, ever dangerous even with 1 HP. Look at the transfer from Smia, how about that? We spoke about Rikke with the rifles, but Smia's doing the same. And here we go, both teams on the buy. Again, we've got triple AUG from Complexity. 5 AKs from Big.
Yeah, that change of pace was really cool. And now they have the opportunity to switch things up again. Complexity will be aggressive though towards connector. All the boosts with that AUG, spotting some legs. But here it is, Xantares wants to get this control back under control of Big, and it will be a trade here, and this is very problematic because sure the smoke is up there, but Smia can try to creep through that as they apply pressure from the back. Got to be really cautious to back out of that position. He's just going to go for the jump peek to get the info, and does spot the CTs falling back in position. He knows he can just go forwards and try to catch them as they get onto the site. Almost got a kill out of it, and now the damage exchange doesn't look too uneven here between these two teams. And this is amazing for Big. They've got so much time.
1 minute on the clock, and Smuya is going to be the investigator towards A-Long. Looking for the information. He's got his notepad out and his pencil. Gobby and Tabson moving the bomb towards the toilets. Grenades being lined up. All 4 players are here. Meanwhile, Ricky's starting to ask questions towards short B. And why sees no one there? They can be expectant towards A, and that will confirm things more. Shazam getting the frag. Ricky starting to flank, but there are 3 CTs on the A side.
Yeah, that's a really critical frag there from Shazam. Stan finds one as well, does the bomb down at his feet. Tijin goes in, and there's nothing he can do. Taps in 1 HP. That's not a good look for him. And Complexity should be able to hold on to this one without too much of a problem. Although he is doing some extra damage before he goes down, it will be the round for Complexity. And it looks like they've really managed to come into their own here. That's 4 rounds of the last 5.
Pre-fire, the shadow, the positional advantages. The focused man is Stanislaw. Shazam, though, is the one leading the charge on the score. What I believe he is 14-8 at present. And in the last round, there is not a lot for Big to fight with, so the score can be kept reasonably close as far as Complexity are concerned. And looking at the start they had, I think they'll be happy with it at this point. So Shazam 14-8. Can he get a few more in this last round? On the AWP once more. So you see Smuya is commonly jumping here. Something I mention a lot is when Overpass was newer, Edward would jump peek there almost all the time, but I never saw him get pre-fired by somebody. We'll see how much it's a habit for Smuya. Dev starting to move back. Smoke towards the Divider. Leaves a little gap, but not really anything with it. Avoids the flashbang easily. They've got more advancements, and there'll be no trades for these Ts unless they want to gamble. Gobby's in the red with his pistol. Not much more he can do at this point.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad right now for Big. They're going to need some electrifying Deagle shots. Tabson, you know he's good for it. Only gets the 1, though. Ricky is just on the bomb site, full HP. Full blind as well, though, and that actually will result in a bomb plant. They can pick up some guns. They've actually just created a chance. Tizian has full HP. A Molotov, he just tossed that up high, I think. Oh, no, actually on the low ground. And he's got full HP. He's got full HP.
Tick-tock. Both these Complexity players have got kits. Both the Ts are in the CT water. The only one is still alive. The pre-fire from Tizian with low health, but he can't do it. A 3K for Stanislaw in that round, and it will be the 6th round on the board for Complexity, while Big lead with 9 at halftime.
Great comeback in this half from Complexity. You can see it there on your screens just briefly. Oh. Indeed. I think it's. I think the gift that's perfect, isn't it? It's perfect.
I saw a lot of flashbangs in that half.
Good gift work. You say GIF or GIF, James?
I say GIF because I'm not an idiot.
Oh.
I don't care what the creator says. He's wrong. It's a G. It's GIF.
Yeah. How do you say giraffe, James?
Giraffe. Waiting for the players to ready up. And we will soon be into this second half. It's all to play for now. Only 3 rounds. Obviously, the pistol is less impactful than it used to be. Got some hype coaches as well. And we are live. 15 seconds until their little legs start to run. Gobby will be a utility man on the CT side. Everybody else for Big with Kevlar. And it's all Kevlar for Complexity. So maybe it's a rush, maybe it's the first player swinging ride, the other player's a trade. We'll have to wait and see. Jules not favorable with Glocks, of course. USPs have much better range for the one-shots to the face. But Complexity have the swarm advantage. They like the Zergs. Nothing good on his own. And that's an early advantage for Complexity.
Yeah, looking really nice. Got so much time to plan around this. Oh, Zantares, just this little snipe from him. And that'll even up the situation, so that advantage is gone. The bomb is on the ground, so someone does need to go back and grab that. It will be Ricky, it seems, who is closest. And Shazam is going to be trying to creep around the side of this smoke, perhaps. Or just wait for it to dissipate. And see if he can get into that A side. see what he can find. Get that information. It's Xantares again.
Maybe he heard the flashbang coming through, avoided it, but you can't avoid Xantares. Not many people can say that they can. 3 Complexity players moving towards the B-bomb site. Gobby spotting from the top. I think he was saying that he's covering the short position. Very clear comms from Gobby. We can hear him from over here. Down to 1 HP now as Nothing and Rikke remain for Complexity. So many guns aimed at them. 30 seconds as they move towards the bomb site itself, but they need to find some frags. They will only be on the receiving end. 1 versus 4 now for Rikke. Can't quite find anything. 23 seconds. Doesn't want to lose by a timeout. He's got to force the issue at some point. Del continues to harass him. The knife was on the way from tabseN, but it will be the bullet of Tizian to take the pistol for big. Double figures for them.
Oh, this is lovely. Bop. So cheeky. I gotta say, I can't really do the PT-1000s. I tried. It's not for me. But for Xantares, I just put anything in his hands, and it will have lethal potential, and he will be upgrading to the M4A4 in this round. This is a good start for Big. 10-6, up against a full save, only 1 flashbang on Nothing. Where's it gonna go?
Bottle smoke outside Monster. It's better to have the smoke on that side. If it's on the other side, then the teeth can burst through it with a pop flash. But they'll fight through anyway, but they will get put into a toaster. They've been made Pop-Tarts of. And now only Nothing remains. No flashbang dance for him this round. Fire on. Doesn't connect enough bullets, however, for the kill. 11-6 for Big.
Ooh, almost all 4. So close. But yeah, so far.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh, look, it's us.
Well, it's me. You're too dark. Ironically.
What do you mean?
11-6, and we've got a bye for both teams. Now we see the Krieg coming out for Stanislaw. This is the first Krieg of the tournament, I do believe. Let's see what they can do with it. With it, rather.
Yes, the Krieg. Coming in favourites. I've been using the Krieg for a long time. For nostalgia purposes, nothing else. And Nothing will smoke off that Molotov. But when you see a Molotov like that, the suspicion is high that the CTs are doing exactly what they're doing here, which is taking the Suez control. And how does he do that? That should not be possible. That should be a very bad play, James. He's walking through the smoke. There's 2 CTs on the other end of it. And somehow he gets the kill for free. That's great work from Nothing. And Complexity will lose 1 player back against the boost on Xantares, but a 4v4 is still favorable for the T side with this much time on the clock.
1 minute mark. tabseN and Xantares look to continue their journey in that short B position as Monster gets smoked off. Nothing will lurk in that position. They will see that nobody is here. Nothing having a look. Did he get a sound cue? tabseN is so close to the corner that he will be at a disadvantage. That's a compounded issue now. And now they know where one of the 3 players is. They can play the numbers game towards A should they choose to. There's a maximum of 2 people there. Nothing, so 1 in the water. So he's 1 facing Monster. He's got a lot of information for Complexity to collapse on A.
Yeah, Nothing's done a great job there. He goes down, falls on his sword, but look at this rotation. So out of position indeed. And high flash for Smir. He's going to go up with it. Needs to be fast, and he is. Great flick, but does it allow enough space for his teammates to get into position? Looks like they're still stuck at the choke points. They'll go for a 2v1. Where's the trade at? Def is close. The 1v1 here as he goes for it. Down to 12. Xantares gets the quad kill to secure the round.
That was quite the round. Unbelievable, considering how much information Nothing got towards the B bomb site. Getting that first frag for Big to come out on top is crazy. Very back and forth. Moving out here. Xantares once again trading the truck position to win the round.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. If Def just knows to peek a little bit sooner, then they probably lose that round. They're lined up next to him.
And that was absolutely wild. And there is a smoke towards Monster once again. Both teams on a full buy. Very interesting second half so far. Some flashes towards the party area. Stanislaw will try to force them back. There's always a question mark when you're going around that smoke. Short B has been taken by the CT, so important. But look at the lineup outside Monster. While Stanisla's being taken down, we've got 3 players. I think Tizian just spotted some, but can he adjust in time? Molotov's trying to stop the push, but he's got some information. Can he get the frags? He can. He's got a teammate for support as well, so they've got a good trade frag situation. They've got a line. They've cut the line across the site. Do not pass this area. The flashbangs are up. The trades are up as well. And Big will come out on top. 2 players surviving. A wild round once again.
That Molotov, even though it was improvised by Tizian, actually did so much because none of the teammates or nothing could really push to trade him because they were stuck by that Molotov, even though there was a small gap. And that allowed the reinforcements to come in. And even though this is a team kill, at that point it's just too much to handle as far as complexity are concerned when trying to break that bomb site. It goes, and now it's a 13-6 scoreline. That's very difficult to overcome when your money is down the drain as it is for complexity. Well, it's not, it could be a lot worse. They just need 1 save. They're going for this half buy here, and Big just look very overwhelming here. Individually, they've been playing great.
Calls of wreck them in this round. Very jovial Big near the commentary booth. Santares, 24-10. Can't be happier if you're God B right now. Very solid stuff. The defense is going well so far.
Yeah. Anti-rush smoke. Ooh. There it is. There's the heady. We got ourselves 2. And there's a 4v3 suddenly for Complexity to play with. They can actually just chill now and just reassess their options. I think they wanted to rush into B, but would perhaps be smarter not to at this point.
They were lining up the double HEs for the sandbag position, but nobody was there for Big. So that was the beginning of the plays from Complexity. Fairly common double HE these days, but you don't often see them hitting the target. 7-round lead for Big, as they have a man disadvantage, but nothing's been picked up by Complexity. Ironically, saying nothing's being picked up by Complexity is both true and false, depending on your timeline. Tabson and Smooya towards the A site, while Tizian plays retake on B.
Smooya looking for that info with the jump peek. Nothing to find just yet. And Tabson going for that information. There they are, very close. Looking for the trade, he baits it out. That's actually a genius play from Tabson. Picks up the kill, 2 HP. Gets the info, his teammates can rally around him. This is not a bad look for now for Big.
Smooth's been taken out, however, and there goes Tabson as well. He had next to no HP, so this is a very unlikely round for Complexity. And they've got Kevlar on 2 of these 3 players, so they can withstand the odd bullet or 2 as Tizian moves in to try and do what he can. He doesn't have a kit. There's probably one on the floor somewhere, though. Gets his first 1v1, but it leaves him with 7 HP. And now what do they do? Shazam's 1 dig will be enough. And there's the round for Complexity. Not out of this just yet.
Definitely wasn't expecting that considering how nice that play was, but that Deagle shot, that's what really did it. And that left, of course, Tabson in an awful spot. Just 2 bullets, 2 kills. Very impactful stuff there from Shazam. And now, you know, there's a real chance here for Complexity. They've really caused some money problems here for Big. It's completely gone there, their economy. They have to win this round if they want to save themselves from a Complexity getting to probably 9 or 10 rounds without much of an answer. We've got those scopes out on Complexity, Orb and a Krieg.
All the scopes. Krieg, I believe, is one of the most, if not the most accurate gun in the game.
Oh, there's boost. Boost on the slides. Do not play on the slides.
Okay, can he see the entrance to toilets though? He literally slid down the slide. Trivia, you can shoot the swing all the way around, but you won't have time to do that during the game. This is a warm-up trick. Not easy to do. Nothing lurking towards B. Tizian, well, 3 players away actually. Is there a boost on short? Indeed there is. That is a funky one.
That's awesome.
Have a look at that. Marvelous stuff.
Wow. Just leave it to Big to find stuff like that. I've not seen that before. That's amazing.
You're welcome, observers.
Zantares he's sort of Deagle, James, in this position. You could definitely expect to get 2! Oh almost, but it's a 4v3 still for Big. They're in advantage, and they spotted the 2-player push. That gives them enough information. And now with this kill from Smee, he's got the bomb. This is just a catastrophe.
He doesn't know who stands on long, though. But Stan's just deployed a grenade, and now Smee knows that he is on long, and he's reset his position. But he's going to get meat shot straight in the jaw. Now we've got a 2 versus 3. Big have to move towards the A side. Tizian still looking towards B. Not quite sure what's going on. There's the first frag attempt from Stan, not working out. A trade from Stanislaw. He's got 12 seconds to find his player. While the rotation comes in, tabseN needs to hide. And double Big almost going for the transfer, but it will be another round for Big. 14-7, double the score of their opponents.
What a round from Big. That was really, really cool to see. That boost, firstly, was really cool because this is the lurker, and after they get that kill on nothing, they perhaps begin to realize that. Obviously get a rotation towards A in time. Xantares had enough info, gets an easy, well, almost 2k with the Deagle. Just beautiful stuff there from Big, and now they're set up so well to take this one over the line. That said, Shazam's on an AWP, so anything can happen still. Oh, what is going on here?
This looks over towards the balcony. I think we've seen this in FPL, but they asked someone, and no one faced it. They said, like, go here. And they went there and got a shot, which was kind of amusing, but very quick attempts. I guess they didn't want to set it up once again because it does cost you your map control. And there is Shazam with the AWP. Godby going very deep, and it cost him.
There's a lot of pressure on Shazam, Xantares now with that AUG, because he will be the next first point. He's the only guy out there for his team. That's a beautiful pop flash. He's completely blind.
He was so blind, he looks like he lagged out. 5 versus 3 now for Complexity.
Xantares was their only information, James. Look at where everyone else is for Big. They are so far back. They don't know, like, they have no idea what's going on the map now.
I wonder if this is one of those situations where you consider stacking people on one site. But with 5 players alive, wouldn't be surprised if Complexity sent a scout in to find out what's going on in their site of choice. The bomb's surrounded by 3 Complexity players, Stanislaw by Monster, and Death moving up the long position. So Complexity got everything on point at the moment. Just the 1 kill there for tabseN. They're not expecting Smooya though. In the red, very awkward stuff for the T's, but Death has position, and that makes life a lot easier now. tabseN rotating from the B bomb site, spotted immediately. 1 versus 4, 20 seconds. He can't stop the bomb from going down, and it seems he may try to hold on to his AUG. However, the hunt has already begun.
Oh dear. It's actually quite funny because Smooya would probably have killed him much earlier, but there's a team flash that came in and actually kind of screwed him over. That's pretty funny. And also forced Tizian back. It's poor Smooya. Oh well, it's all good. It's all good in the hoods. Looks like Complexity still in this one. Obviously, they have only the pistols really to worry about at this point. And so they should be able to get to 9 rounds at least. But, I mean, you never know. Between Xantares, Smooya, I mean, Tizian's shown us some pretty disgusting stuff as well with pistols on this map. Do you remember, James, around the barrels with that USP looking at the floor?
Yes,
90-degree flick. Yes, good times.
How can one forget that? One of the most absurd. It is essentially a flick, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a flick, yeah.
Well, we have textbook anti-eco strats, numbers down long, but they will change the page looking into the toilet position. Nothing has been wrecked. And again, lots of Godby is really reading the game. The rotation begins now. tabseN, Tizian, Godby moving towards the A site. Xantares leaving the short B position to join them, it seems, as Smee is on the flank. But Rikke may have heard him.
Indeed, it seems like Rikke had an inkling, but he seems to have abandoned that as there's a call comes in from Complexity just to get all hands on deck here into this A push. And now Smee can start to go for the flank as his teammates try to hold around the smokes on the site with the pistols. The spray comes in, looking a really good hit now for Big. And still we've got Smee in the back. He's going to take down Rikke, pick up his gun. This is a disaster now for Complexity. They do have some time on the clock, but it's a 2 versus 4, and his rifles have so much work to do. That is something. But still, with Smee in the back, watching for any rotation, this is impossibly difficult for Big, rather for Complexity right now.
It's tough for both teams at the moment. Godby pretty low on health, just waiting, just playing on time as much as possible. The flank finally gets taken up. Suddenly it's just Godby with a pistol, and it'll be down to the last headshot from a pistol of Shazam. Oh my god, that went down to the wire. Absolutely crazy. But I've got to say, while all that stuff is happening, we're so close to God B, and he's reading the game, he's calling the rotations, then at some point everyone's communicating, like, shush, 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 listening for the game sound, trying to figure out what's going on. It's really great to have that close exposure to that. But what a wild round, going down to pistol versus pistol, straight in the dome, no less. Overkill from Shazam keeps complexity in the game.
Yeah, not only that, it's in a pretty huge way because there's no money left for Big. Only $1,900 for each of these players, and that's no fun. That's going to allow complexity to get to 11 likely, unless something like that happens against me. It does have an Eagle, and he is pretty good with it. So as we saw last round, I can see he's waiting there in connector. Not what to bait with though, but that's okay. Sewers control from Big too, so they do have actually, despite no guns or Kevlar or much of anything, they do have some good positioning on the map. Ooh, Shazam misses that shot. Still stays out of trouble though. He does have teammates for support. A pretty good hit. How much more can Smooya get?
Closes the door, good manners, trying to jump on the boost spot. Waiting for his doom. There it is. Well, things are getting close now. Now you've got to start to feel the pressure if you're Big. Seemed like it was in the bag. But again, until the contract is signed, nothing is real, nothing is true.
Yeah, it's becoming reminiscent of the FaZe and Cloud9 matchup we had just previous today. Just have 2 overtimes if you missed it. First map and second map featured overtimes and big comebacks from FaZe both times. Although, of course, they were not able to close. Let's see if Big can make these Deagles a problem again for complexity as they go through connector. Often a dangerous place to find yourself when you're against pistols, but looks like Def is going to be pretty fine with that.
Yeah, he had a support flashbang from his teammate, which just about hit the mark there. Quick look from God B. This is a team on pistols, no less. Just trying to do what they can while they await the next buy. We're looking at 14-11, almost certainly. And I'm excited to see what happens after this round, but you never know what might happen here. They had to hit that shot. They had 2 opportunities, both missed. You never know, you pick up that rifle, you have the position, no one else is in short B. So that's an opportunity that's come and gone for Big. And now complexity start the pilgrimage through the monster tunnel towards the B-bomb site. And there it is. 3 rounds between these two sides. First map in this best of 3 series. Overpass Cash and Train to come.
Oh god, just Cash and Train. Oh, nicely done. Always love to see that. Love that transition. It's very fancy. What a beautiful studio. And there we go. Freeze time over, and you can hear this, the running of the complexity players. Oh dear. Quick little team flash. The 5-man boost effectively requires 5. It's pretty disgusting, I must say. But the timing's a bit too slow, and now the train's in the way. So it's not going to do much good for them. Big have actually taken Sewers as well. So that's actually a huge win for them. Actually, no, I think I misread it, actually. Oh, no, they have taken it. Yes, they have. So, yeah, that is indeed a big win. And complexity slow to map control because of the boost attempt, something that you mentioned before. And it's like they're all going long into Smooya. Oh, dear.
If they run wide, it's not the easiest shot to hit. It's missed more than you would expect. Smooya will take the shot blind, full back. Probably hit the rock with that flick. 4 players remain. So he has no information. He hasn't seen anything. All he knows is that there was a flashbang. I'm pretty sure. No one peeking long. The change in approach is Gobby and Smooya playing a 2-man setup in the toilet. So Gobby can watch the cross and Smooya can up on the inside, which isn't what you normally see. Often you'd find the sniper on the outside and the rifle player on the inside. Some tagging from Xantares. Nothing massive, nothing huge. Gobby will see the grenade being deployed. He knows someone's around the corner. That may make him a little bit faster on the trigger finger. Nothing. The flash peek straight into the AWP. The trade frag will try to, but not quite do it. But it is a 4 versus 2 for Big. The bomb's on the floor, the grenade's being deployed, and this is a rough spot for Complexity.
Yeah, the smoke does go down on the bomb, which may allow them to collect it, but 8 seconds left to plant. I don't know if there's any time here to make this actually a reality. Bomb picked up no time at this point, and they'll be finished off by Smuya and tabseN. Really well played by Big. It was, I like the idea from Complexity, but you feel like maybe they were just a little bit slow to pull the trigger on the push. And you can see Big is all over this Smuya. Great stuff there. And as you say, not as common that you would actually have the AWP in that position. You'd normally have it be the further back, but that was the saving grace, actually.
That's the element of surprise that you need. That's the power of an experienced in-game leader like GodB. Now we've got 2 Kriegs for Complexity as they fight against Game Point. Shazam on AWP as well. Nothing looking towards B. tabseN and XANTARES continue their journey towards that short B position. And Nothing may look to creep through the smoke once again. Indeed he is. He is going to get taken out by XANTARES. No trade needed. Smuya, meanwhile, has got 2 HP falling back as Stanislaw and Def are above connector. Ricke's in connector, I believe. So Smuya's in trouble. tabseN may just come to the rescue.
For some reason, Rick, even though the doors shot out, he like kept his crosshair firm on those stairs. Didn't see the head poking through. And that's a sad shame there for Complexity because they're up against it right now and they have a big disadvantage creeping in towards the A side. But the bomb is really far away. The bomb is not with the push. And he could get split up because of the where tabseN is. He's being connector. Nice entry from Def though. That could make things work. Another one from Stan. And they have the bomb site, but the bomb has to make its way across.
All the way too long. Doesn't know. I think tabseN heard the footsteps as well. He's gone for the flank from the T side of connector. So that's a long flank, and I don't think he's going to get there in time. Shazam past the angle on long now, making his way towards the site. Def has toilet. Stanislaw keeping an eye on the bank position, and the bomb will get planted. tabseN coming from the back takes down Stanislaw. Now we've got a 3 versus 2 retake for Big.
And that's a really big flank because that can just come from anywhere now. And ooh, the flash was good, but still Shazam gets the kill. Can he get anything else though? When he needs another one, this nade will finish him off. Good work there coming in from Tizian with that lob. Now down to Def. The bomb is facing him. It's actually still a good position, but they have a CT to hold. Looks like tabseN will be the one keeping his rifle at the ready as Def picks the time to peek. Oh, they line up! It's the worst possible thing that could have happened for Big, and Complexity stay alive thanks to Def.
Man like Def from the UK. He's got his Air Max 95 on. He's kicking the doors open for Complexity, keeping them in this game of Overpass. Timing could not have worked better for him, and you can see he keeps a cool head. 3 more rounds for Complexity. The money's broken once more for Big. Ooh, that's awkward.
Yeah, that's tough. That's very, very tough. Down to pistols again.
Yeah, they had no idea where he was. Fair chance he's around toilets, but is he coming from the divider? Is he coming from the front? You just don't know. And here we are. What a massive round for Complexity. But there are more massive rounds to come. This should be a small one. Clean pistol. Just a Deagle on a P250. Now it's just a Deagle left. No frags, despite those tagging scenario around the fountain. Well, there's one, but there's only 2 rounds that Complexity need to take this to overtime.
Indeed, they're almost there. Almost there. 6 of the last 7 rounds, as you can see. It has been troublesome here for Big. But the double orbs come out to play, and that is scary. tabseN and Smuya, of course, incredible on the AWP. GodB with a lovely appearance of an auto shotgun, always fun as well. Not the greatest situation on the utility, but at least they have 5 smokes. That's kind of the most basic thing that you need. No diffuse kits, also problematic. But with 2 orbs, you kind of hope that it doesn't get to that point anyway. But we'll see. Complexity open things up here with a variation of a default, not sending anyone into connector just yet, but making sure that they can apply some pressure towards B. And the walk from Nothing and Ricket all the way up, but there's one of the orbs that's spotted. The flash is good though.
I thought GodB would stay in connector with the auto shotty, but it can serve a purpose around the entrance from long into the A site and also around divider where he's gone to now. So he is definitely studied on all the quarters and another bait setup as well. How deep is his strat book? Honestly, like little scenarios like this can make the difference between winning a map or going to overtime. And Def is the one who is lurking with the bomb, but I don't think he's going to go too far on his own. Shazam's on his way. In the meantime, Stanislaw is just lurking outside B, moving his pawns around the chessboard. Ricky now making steps which God B will hear. Nothing creeping up long. So Complexity trying to find out where their best opportunity lies. And it might be with nothing. Let me find the first one. There's a second, but Smida trades.
Very fast trade as well. Zantaris down in the corner of the sewers. 3 quick kills coming in from Big in very fast succession as now it's down to Ricket and Shazam for Complexity to make this happen. And they have a huge pressure on time. Only 20 seconds to just actually get a plant down. And they have to go B. They're committed into B. There's no way to get through to A at this point, and they have to be quick about it. They've got 2 smoke grenades. That will assist them greatly, but they need to make this clean.
It's not going to be clean, though, with God B in a short position with the auto shotgun, looking to squeeze the ketchup from the bottle. Shazam, you only left 1 versus 3, and there it is, Smooth to finish things off. It will be Big to take over past the first map in this best-of-3 series over Complexity.
Yeah, really great performance from both Big and Complexity. You know, I have to say I'm impressed by both teams. I feel like Zantaris, we didn't see anything like particularly special from him, I would say. But, you know, he did his job. He got the frags he was supposed to. We didn't see him go nuclear. But that's good. I feel like we saw a unit, which is really important because you raised the concern of communication, which I know is something everyone's thinking about.
Absolutely. That is the first map in the bag. A close score, ultimately. We'll see what the desks will think about that one after the break. See you back here soon.
My hand's gonna fall off. It's pretty cool though. Cold? Yeah, my hand's a little cold now.
Maybe we need to turn on the AC. It's pretty hot for you guys.
Can you hear me? Below you, right below you.
Nice!
Good recovery, boys.
Nice! Woo! Let's go! Nice! Woo!
It may be cold in the studio, but the action's heating up Haha, you like that one. Welcome back, everyone, to the ELEAGUE CSGO Invitational. We're here in between matches 1 and 2. You got Golden Boy, Moses, and Sean here. As we get ready for this, I had to do it, right?
You were preparing that through the whole match. I thought you nailed it.
I wrote it down very diligently, but a very diligent end for Big as they're able to win that 16-13 complexity, though. Bounced back in what we surely thought was going to be such a one-sided affair, so it's nice to see Cole try and keep my prediction alive here in this best of 3. Thoughts on this matchup, fellas?
It's good that Complexity recovered, because I thought what we saw to start that game was a really nice, I think it was like 7-1 run for Big to open up that game. And they were on the T side of Overpass, so it was just kind of like, well, this is what we expected. A good tactical T side with the added firepower of Xantars, who had a pretty solid game. And I just kind of expected that to continue to steamroll over Complexity. But it is good to see them come back, because when you look at this Complexity team, that run they had at the Major was incredible to get a Legend spot. And it was a little bit of an overperformance from Def. They had Android back then. They had Ye back then, who were solid players. So I actually think these roster changes, bringing in Jordan, bringing in Ricky for those two, is going to take the longest to really feel like it's meshing and then working. But it was good to see some success they can hang their hat on in that map.
Yeah, I don't think Complexity has anything to hang their head on. They lost both pistols here. There was that early eco round where Shazam got caught in the bathrooms. He actually had a fantastic game other than that one round. Xantars, like Jason said, I mean, honestly, he came up big time and time again. Same with Tabson and Smooya. So the stars for Big all showed up in this game. They won both pistols, and still we get a 16-13 end. I mean, everything went in Big's favor here, in my opinion. But I don't know. I think this is going to be an excellent second map, to say the least, because that was Big's pick.
And also, if you look at this, I mean, just the scoreline, Xantars, Tabson, the two players that we kind of identified as the heavy hitters, had very good games. And then you had Smooya, who's, you know, we've mentioned has been up and down lately, and this was obviously one of his up games. A good performance from him, and you always like to see that out of your Alper.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to look forward now to Cash as we get ready for match number 2. But I understand as well, because Xantars has kind of been our big highlight point for this Big roster, and he's certainly been playing relatively well. I know that you had something you wanted to highlight in particular.
Yeah, this was the 13th round of the match. So this was after Complexity started to mount their comeback. And this was the round Xantars got hit to 1 HP by Stan. And smartly, they follow Bogdan's law here, give Xantars the off at long A, and the team regroups and goes over towards B. So Xantars actually has a lot of freedom here from God B to stay over by A with this AWP. And he actually succeeds in then getting the pick on Stanislaw, who hit him down to 1 HP. There's like a makeshift B hit going on where they smoke heaven, Molotov barrel, smoke bridge, and then Smooya hits a really nice spray transfer. And I think this round's just really cool because without the fact that they traded guns, 3 of those kills don't even happen. Likely Xantars immediately dies with that 1 HP, but instead Smooya is able to get a nice double kill. Xantars was able to get his pick, and they end at the A bomb site. And it just goes to show how well organized and the teamwork is on Gabi's squads.
It's also pretty interesting to note that even with that kill on Stanislaw, like, he still knew what was coming. I mean, Complexity still had 3 players defending that B bomb site, so it still had to be a very strong hit. And like Sean said, if they don't swap that op out, that's likely a round loss because Xantars just can't do anything with an AK.
Yeah, I mean, and again, just Big playing so well there, and that leads to the victory. Also, just further success for this roster as they go up 1-0 against Complexity, and just been such a great day of Counter-Strike, but we've also had a great day in another competition that's been going down. That's right, it is the Trivia Challenge. Here comes the mic. So,
look at that.
What's going on here?
Powerful victory.
Well, okay, well, I think
got
for
one right.
I think for one, I should get at least 500 points just for my existence. And then Moses, I think, you know, we saw the Death Star,
yeah, that was
Photoshop.
good.
I can't speak English.
I got one with the eraser as well.
Yeah, you did. So I think you should get 15 points for that. And then Sean,
they added a tie on me.
I kind of like where you are.
Did they Photoshop that on? I thought you said you'd never won a tie. Before today began, you said you've never won a tie.
Yeah. Wait, you have a tie? Wow.
What's going on?
I'm very thrown off.
That's the most shocking thing in this whole picture.
Yeah. The most shocking thing is that Sean is wearing a tie. Yes. So that leads us to our next challenge of the day. That's right. We have another.
This went really well the last time, so I'm excited for the third.
Yes, it did. Okay, another CSGO Trivia Challenge. This time, it's with Gob B from Big. And let's see what it's going to be, what the wheel brings us today. And the category is movies. All right. So the question is, what movie is Gob B perfect for? Is it The Terminator, Batman, Neo, or the Pink Panther? Interesting here, fellas. Gabi.
I don't know if I could see him as the Terminator, but he could definitely be one of those characters that gets like wrecked real early on in the movie.
Okay.
Like Terminator rolls up and he's like, give me your clothes, your boots, your motorcycle type thing.
So he's an extra.
I could see him in Batman though, like all those gadgets, like utility. You know, like he's a man. Yeah, he's a man that uses a lot of utility.
He would be Batman.
Yes, he would be Batman.
He would be Batman, not an extra in Batman.
Yes.
Sue, what about you? What do you think, Sue?
I've been thinking about this, and I'm going to have to go with the Terminator, because it doesn't matter how long he's been playing this game, what type of roster he's playing with, he always comes back.
Ooh! Interesting.
Okay.
Wow.
Dude, Alex, you could learn something from that. Was smooth.
That was real smooth.
I get to learn a lot from Smix over there. Okay. I'm going to say... I'm going to go with you. I'm going to say Batman.
I'm going with Pink Panther.
Why is that on there?
Pink Panther, but you just said he was an extra in Terminator.
Yeah, but that wasn't one of the options. I was just
Jason doesn't even care. They just give him free points.
Exactly. I mean, I gave myself 500 points, so there you go. All right, well, let's take a look at the result, the answer, and it is...
We didn't get the casters again, but it's fine.
They don't matter.
If I would play in a movie and I could choose a character, I would be Neo of the Matrix.
All right.
That came from left field. Why Neo?
Well, I didn't know that Gabi got to pick which character he was. That would have... No one picks Pink Panther.
We are living in a simulation.
And I'm still holding the microphone. So, all right, well, there you have it. Gabi says that he will, in fact, be Neo. None of this makes any sense.
Jason loses no points.
And where's my 500? I guess 500 doesn't fit in the graphic. For some reason, there's a smiley face for DDK. Sean, you went down 8 points. Sue, you're the only one that's winning this. None of this makes any sense.
James and Dan are just happy to be here. Big smile.
And that was another CSGO Trivia Challenge. That is going to do it for us here. Coming up next, though, we're going to have Cash. Can Complexity bounce back, or will Big send him to the lower bracket? Join us soon. You ever wonder where ELEAGUE gets their chairs? Well, Don't fear, GB is here to tell you can go to needforseat.com to learn more. Maxnomic is the official chair of ELEAGUE. Once again, go to needforseat.com to learn more today. I got you covered, guys. I know that was a question on everybody's mind, and because of that, we're friends. So we're cool now. Okay, welcome back to the desk, guys. I like how there's just nothing to jump in.
Oh.
Just left me out there.
I was going
You had
to,
it all
but
under control.
yeah, you
Thanks.
felt like he was really secure.
I really appreciate that. Good friends over here. Seriously. Great guys. Well, you know what? Let's move forward to map number 2 as we have Cash. It's going to be the battleground for Big Complexity. Big up 1-0 in this series against Complexity now. And Complexity, we're showing some signs of life at the end of that game. This is not going to be Complexity's map. Cash, one could expect that this would be a favorable result for them here, given how they were able to close out on map 1.
Yeah, historically, Complexity has been a very strong Cash team, but the map lends itself to aimers, like Xantares, like Tabson, like Smooya. They enjoy this map, so by no means is this going to be a walk in the park for Complexity, but surely they have a game plan here. They've done their research, and that's why they opted to pick Cash.
And this map also, like, despite the fact that I agree, it does lend itself to some crazy individual ability and skilled players, I think there's some very deep tactics on this map because rotations on the CT side can get exploited. Like, if you're not on point rotating on defense, you're going to get pulled all across the map and just be rendered ineffective. And that's something that even Gabi can specialize in. So if you look at the talent that he's got, if he's able to put, Smooya in the middle of the map and pick off rotations, Xantares in the open, if you can start peeling apart that Complexity defense, I think we could see Big steamroll a T side.
All right, so before we get into the predictions, I just have one question. Who on the Complexity side do you need to look out for? Who's that? We've been focusing a lot on Xantares and Big. Who on Complexity do the fans need to look out for at home?
Who are you going with?
You stumped me with that question. That's the crazy thing about this Complexity team is, like, there's no name that really, like, sticks out that's going to take it over, so you almost have to say Shazam.
Yeah.
But someone like Stanislaw who can be a good lurk can also have great impact as well.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
the thing
that I can
is
catch you guys off
Shaz had such a good first map, and Complexity still didn't cross that finish line. So it's going to have to be someone in addition to Shazam. So
Ricky had some great rounds with the AK in that first map.
I think Cash does lend itself to a double op setup, and I think they might have Ricky like opping the opposite bomb side of Shazam a lot. So I'm going to go with Ricky.
Okay, so now that being said, do you think that Big win this out, win the series 2-0 here, or do you think Complexity takes us to game 3?
I think Big wins this out right here. I thought Complexity would have to win the first map to even have a chance in the series, but yeah, I'm gonna take Big in the second map.
Sean?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Big still. The reason being is because they have a lot of executes that I've loved over the years. Gabi has innovated this map time and time again, and I've stolen the stuff from my past teams that he has created. And I think we're gonna see more of the same.
Okay, well, Gabi says that he is Neo.
Veggie
he is
rep,
the one.
Veggie rep.
Yes.
We didn't get to hear from James and DDK about their thoughts on Gabi being Neo. Fellas, over to you.
You guys are idiots, man. They had 3 films and one just the answer on there, and you still got it wrong. That's unbelievable. And now we've got the DDK version.
How are we supposed to know?
It didn't even
Neo?
say the Matrix, it just said Neo. It's like, here's the answer.
Oh, sure, James. I didn't hear you say that at the time.
Yeah.
Such a liar.
After the buzzer, Bardo.
Collective noggins were not enough on the desk, but now we are at the Boost mobile casting desk where the real action happens. They can cuss us out for 5 minutes. We can do it for 45. So choose your words carefully. Now, on Cash, Sean said that Xantares in particular was a beast on Cash. Are you expecting a massacre?
Yes, I feel like they got way better tools for this map. I think Complexity do play Cash pretty well. Obviously, it's been in their wheelhouse for a very long time, and in North America, no less. It's always been a map where I feel like the North American teams have been very good at it, very dynamic. But again, it's just a bit too hard to get over the Tabson, Smooya, Xantares like combination. They've got just so much firepower on a map that it can be dominated by these open spaces, and as they pointed out as well, like beating this, like having setups to just confuse CT rotations is really difficult to deal with. And that said, Complexity will start off on the T side. I feel like if they are able to have a strong start here, it is possible, but I'm leaning heavily towards Big.
Right then. Ricky smoking a flash. Death smoking a Molotov. Are both smokes for an execute into the A site. They've left a bomb in a non-committal area. Let's see what happens. Pop flash into A main, and there are 3 players facing a quick pop overhead near the entrance to the A site, and Big are looking good so far. Ricky still has his grenades, but how do you execute your plan now in a 3 versus 5?
Yeah, just got to go for it. Smooya's waiting though, elevated, now dropping down, looking to see what he can find. Oh, takes his time, and that's a lovely shot at range with the USP. In comes a quick little decoy. There's an actual smoke, an actual grenade to do something. And Stan is trying to hold off the forces, and there's a lot of them. They're all starting to swarm in here. Ricky will defend from the flank as the vent drop is not successful from Xantares. And how do they do that? They've got to frag out here. Now it's just down to Stan. And he's got 2 players. Oh my god, there might be a chance.
Plenty of time on the clock. A USP can be collected. The range is now equal, but the numbers are not. They're lining up for a double pick, standing directly underneath each other. Smooya going slightly wide. Now he repositioned as Stanislaw doesn't have the angle. And now he's got the 1 versus 1. Stanislaw, can he get the headshot though? He can get the kill. Just jiggling, keeping an eye on where Godby is. Looking for kill number 4 now. Godby playing headshot, but he's excellent. And that's a lovely 1 shot. Was that a 1 versus 4? I think it was. It was 1 versus 4.
Yeah, it was like 2v5 at one point, so that was so ridiculous.
That's not how you want to start a game of Cash, especially with the more emotional players on your team.
Oh, how on earth has that happened?
But they had a double peak. They had 1 high and 1 low, and then they moved from a double peak to a 1v1.
Yep.
So I think they outsmarted themselves there. They had the best opportunity, and then they, I don't know. I mean, you can't get better than a double peak where one is above the other one, in my opinion. But there we are. Kind of left Smooya isolated underneath. I don't know if he had a command to reposition somewhere else, but they were in the best spot you could ask for, I think.
Sometimes you just feel like you have to do something, when in reality, you're fine. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that factor playing out, but either way, it's complexity with that pistol victory. Full save from Big, and he got B investing. We'll see what they can do. Dink will come in.
That's a very long range for a MAC-10, even if your opponent has no Kevlar. And, well, he's got 44 HP, so it should be good for it. Now he's just making bank, he's making coin. That's a lot of money for him. 4 kills, 54-50 moving into round number 3. Let's see Smooya with the AWP immediately. Cash, maybe a difficult map for map control on the CT side when you don't have all the grenades in the world, but it is a brave new world of economy when you've lost a pistol round, so they'll have more grenades than you might expect.
Op does come out onto Smooya, no Kevlar for him, but we'll have to see what he's up to. Lots of aggressive warping options on the CT side of Keish. He's going to go to a deep angle here to try to catch anyone jumping across the sunroom. Doesn't spot anyone though, and interestingly, Cezanne's on the other side of it. Tizian will block the push attempt into middle. That's a big win. Good flashbang though will push Smooya out of position and back onto the B bomb side itself. Complexity likely going for a B split, but Tizian so deep in mid as he is, quite a problem.
Ooh.
What?
No, you're holding the angle with an AWP, but Stanislaw just comes in. That is brazen, it is rude, and it gives Complexity a chance. Godby wondering what might be going on. All they've seen is Stanislaw, but the entire team are here now. What remains of them, Complexity? Xantares and Tizian going for a boost in the meantime. They will not be in position. There goes Godby, and they're still not collapsing on the site quickly. Still only 1 player. Now they know there are 2, and what is likely. And Big move into position. They've got a flash on Tizian, and he's not in position to throw it. So this is a very rough situation for the remainder of Big. Do you go for the retake 3 versus 4 with 1 flashbang? There it is deployed, and they make their way into their doom, it seems. Tabson, the last man standing, last man to fall. 4 players survive for Complexity. Very nice start for them, especially the way Big started in the previous map. This is a great answer from Complexity.
That pick from, was it Stanislaw with the pre?
Yeah.
What one God's earth is that? That was pretty nuts.
Colossal.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that you would, like, I feel like with an AK or something, like, you're just never going to attempt that. Because, like, especially if you think that you're peeking into an AWP. I don't know if they did know that because we hadn't fired a shot off just yet, but still, I guess that is probably what, I don't think he would have done it if he knew it was an AWP for sure, but very good stuff from him. That scope does pay off in that way. It does allow you to do stuff like that more reliably.
Even without the scope, it's more accurate than an AK.
That's true. Well, Working out really well for Complexity to kick things off here on the Cash map 2. After just losing the first map, as James alluded to. See what they can find. Oh, not that much. Big looking like they're out of options now on this round. Ooh, that was close. 4-0. Complexity looking great so far, but a buy will come in once again.
Smooya has AWP plus Kevlar now. Big in a position to do what they want. They've got the money to buy everything. Let's see, will they take the game to Complexity? Will they go for a stronghold in the mid position? Aggressive smokes towards B. Plenty of opportunities on Cash. I do believe the reimagining of Cash from FM Pwn or FMP1 is 50% done. Here they are, out through the smoke arc Complexity. They've got the numbers, and Tizian is in a lot of trouble, creating some space for a smoke grenade, but there's no way he escapes that. 5 versus 3, very quickly from Complexity. A fast-paced round as they look to collapse on the A sides.
Tabson though still trying to fight, but he's out in the open. The flank from the door will be the end of him. Godby now posting up by the E-box, seeing what he can get, but so many angles. Still does get the flick and the kill, but down to 4 HP, and that leaves Smooya all on his lonesome with an AWP. Very difficult task ahead. He's looking for that first kill though, but it is in fact nothing coming from the flank that will be the kind of player that's peeled away from the main push that Smooya's been looking for. And now he takes a defensive position, but nothing hears the scope. So nothing has just called through his team exactly where Smooya is. And so that's a problem, because that means they can hunt him pretty effectively. And they're just creeping from both sides. If they can get a peek from both sides at once, that's a problem. But it's like nothing will just go in, and there's no trade potential. I don't think they'll be able to get Smooya now at this point. I think the chance is now gone.
Stanislaw is 9-0 at present. 9-0 in 5 rounds. Not bad for an in-game leader. Stanislaw in Polish is pronounced Stanisław. I haven't asked him about that in person though, because I know he has some Polish roots. 5-0 for Complexity. Mr. Stanisław leading the charge for his team. Continuing with the Krieg. He's been dedicated with the Krieg, and I think the Org as well. We've seen favor to the Org, but not the Krieg from most other players so far. But now it's time for, well, Battle Sniper in Tabson, maybe with the best spawn. He will be carrying the AWP, the rest on pistols. So I think he's going for a peek somewhere behind the smoke, but he'll be heard by the players going towards the squeaky door position. Nobody home, and they know the sniper now is in that main position because he scoped in and they heard that. So the question is, you think, okay, the AWP is towards A, let's go towards B, but there's a reasonable chance that there's a stack towards B and a hero AWP on the other side of the map. So Complexity still have a puzzle to solve.
And a 3-man B setup is definitely quite difficult to deal with without proper grenades. And they only have nothing around at the moment. He's got no nades left at this point. So a minute left now for Complexity to figure this one out. Got to be the only man on the A site with that PT50, watching from quad into main. And the quick pop flash there pushes down to peek the white box. Nothing yet. 45 seconds. Now time starts to be a problem. They've got no kills. There's an AWP out on the field. They don't know where. And they're running out of time.
I think they were just using this time to allow the desperation of Big, make an aggressive play, run into an AK. Hasn't happened, and now time is against them. Tizian with a pistol shot. Ooh, there's a gun to collect, he thinks, before he drops out of the vent. Does he go for it, though? There's a player lurking outside the B bomb site. He does go to collect, and Bigger fully rotating towards his A site. 18 seconds in, and there's no picks for Complexity whatsoever. These are some of the most trying rounds, and this one will certainly be. How about that? Look at all the weaponry they're going to collect. 2 AWPs, a Krieg, and another rifle. Fantastic stuff from Big.
Yeah, and ends up being the case that they're too indecisive in the end. And too little time left. You go for that desperation push. I feel like that can only really work out often when you've at least got one pick. But so many big players there to respond, and they've picked up so much value. My God, they all have so much money at this point.
even on Eco, honestly, the communication from Godby to his team is so stimulating to listen to. Shows the importance of the sharing of information, no matter the situation. Moving through, or trying to. Tizian's up close, but he's got to reach. He's blocking a player in the meantime, but look at the kill feed. It's a 4 versus 2 for Big all of a sudden. And it gets even better. I don't know where all these frags came from. I saw one, and everybody's dead. Apart from Stanislaw, who has only died 1 time so far. May choose to, well, I mean, it's very important. We've only 1 round on the board for Big to make this as expensive as possible for them. Looking for people. Again, the accuracy, just going for the taps, doesn't really need to scope. It's so accurate anyway. Continuing to move through.
Gonna go for it now. Ooh, get into connector. 50 seconds. There is a world where Stan can get some real damage done here. Santaro's up on the truck, and there's that accuracy you're talking about. Spots the next player, nade out. Could use it as a fake flashbang. Goes for it, finds another headshot. Indeed, damage being done. 2 HP, he can find a 1v1 on the bomb site, but against the AWP, certainly going to be a difficult look. They have the element of surprise. He's got no idea exactly where they are, and he's threatening the B push to try to bait a rotation and catch a kill that way. And Smuya out in the open, he does it, but that is some good damage at the end from Stan.
That is fantastic stuff. When he was in a mid position dueling with Xantares, he heard the scope of a player in A main, so he knew where 2 of the 4 players were. I've got to read the other 2 are likely towards B. So plenty of info to play with, but a big question mark as to where that second player towards B was or could be. And Big will win the round. But again, that damage could be very impactful in the rounds to come. We'll have to see how they play out. Def will be on a Galil. The rest of the team will have the kind of rifles they want. But utility is limited now for complexity, so we start to see some issues with their economy. Smoke grenade will thwart the Molotov, and they will burst into into mid. They've had a big focus on mid in multiple rounds complexity. 2, 3 players bursting through smokes, and here they are again, taking it very, very quickly.
Slowly making their way in towards A main as well. Def cozying up to the white box. Does have Shazam with them as well to maybe take picks towards quad or towards the A side, but there's 2 CTs real close. Tizian there as well. They go for the retake, they will. Could be a devastating outcomes. The crash peak from Tizian is pretty good. It's the 3v2 now for Big as the bomb is on Rikke. They do actually not have the worst situation in the world because of the amount of time that's left. They're going to make their way towards A, but you just don't expect the AWP in this position.
Run boost. I don't think Tabson identified that was a run boost, so there's no rotation just yet. Sees 1 player come out, and he's moving around the smoke to the side, trying to stop the bomb, trying to buy time for the rotation. Smuya on the high ground. Stanislaw below. That leaves Rikke now 1 versus 3. Takes Smuya out 1 versus 2. He's got the bomb, and he's running towards the B bomb site. Does he dare go through mid into the vent, or does he go all the way around? No, he's going back towards A, trying to split these players up. Best case scenario, I think he has 1 player on A. But they're both playing retake. They're non-believers in the rotation. Although Tabson's pretty deep in mid. He opens the door. We've got Godby elevated on a short B position. 10 seconds, and he's missed his opportunity to... Got to go for the frags, and Godby will deliver 3 rounds for Big.
Yeah, I think that was a really, really cool gamble there from Big, because Tabson, as you mentioned, he got into that deep position on mid pretty quickly, where he can actually see if the T was to run into through useless, which perhaps, I mean, they're gambling that he doesn't run around T spawn, obviously, but that's a good gamble to take, and it does work out as they have 2 fast responders on that A bomb side available. And Big, you know, it's been pretty difficult considering complexities. 5 rounds in a row they had looked really good, and some of the rounds since then have been hard fought, but Big are now back in this one, and complexity have no cash. So we'll see if they can do anything with the pistols. It will be difficult. You really want to keep that CT economy honest if you can, try to get some kills. It will be a buy, I think, regardless for complexity, because they'll be on $2,900 of loss bonus. So that means that the most important objective is not actually the bomb plant, but it's damaging Big's economy. Getting as many kills as possible would be really, really awesome for them.
Some flashes for complexity. A fake being offered towards B, it seems, with 3 players. Nothing delivering the smoke grenades, and Tara's moving away from forklift on A. Spammer waiting, and now they've got a 2 versus 1. Assassin just sitting on A until they see the bomb. He hears the sound cues, he lines them up, and now he's down to the pistol, but he can't trade the kill, but his teammate can. Can't get a second kill, that is, but now nothing is too far away to get to the bomb. He's got time though, which means that he can die, worst case scenario, and he must, because he needs the loss bonus. His money is quite far away from his teammates, but that'll be important in the buy round. We'll see how that works out, trying to do what he can, which isn't much on this occasion, and Big close the gap, 4-5. Only 1 round between these teams now.
It's so fun hearing Gobby. He projects his voice a lot, so we can really hear a lot of the stuff that he's saying. But
that's the thing. He's not just an in-game leader, but he's also a leader. He is like a
leader of men.
He's a personality, which some teams miss.
There's the mid-smoke there from Xantares, usually followed up by the incendiary on the boost, but so they'll save that for now. Very fast over the boost there. Tizian playing behind the mid-smoke. Often this does get spammed, so you have to be really careful. Somehow Tizian makes it work though, but that is due to the counter smoke on the boost from the CTs. Looking really strong there, and we'll see if Rikke can try to trade this out, because they've gone down 2 players already. They can't get into mid, give up 2 players for nothing. They've got to get something back.
Rikke is aware, but there is a trade, and that's the bomb falling into mid. 4 versus 2, the problems are compounded for Complexity. They're being starved of oxygen. Big look to tie the score. Tabson throwing grenades down main, nothing eliminated, leaving his Stanislaw outside A main. Once again, with lots to do with the Krieg as he tries to reposition. He gets shot by Smooya for free, and there it is, pair of 5s. I'm all in.
Big love in that one. Getting back into this one, feeling that momentum. Tizian around the side of the smoke, that's pretty huge. Beautiful stuff there from Big. And sometimes when you just molly that position, the T's will just run over it and just murder you, and that can be difficult. But obviously with that CT smoke on the boost, it does actually make things quite difficult for the T's if they want to force their way through. And the doubles will continue for Big, and it's been quite successful thus far. Xantares maybe going for an aggression here towards that A main position. See what he can get. AK out, goes for the spots, and doesn't see anything. No early rush from Complexity confirmed.
Bomb in Squeaky Door, but nobody's in main. So the game hasn't been given away just yet. Shazam hiding outside. Now a smoke has been deployed. Well, it seems he's considering creeping through it. Xantares moving towards the forklift position. He has a lot to do. There's a big focus on mid. Got B by the vents, but inside the B checkers. So it's retake on A. Xantares versus Pistols.
So it's going to be a 2v1 on the A side. Oh, Stan went down. He had the full nade set, James. He was supposed to toss all the nades into B, and I think poor rotation for a 2v1 on A for a plant. I think that was the whole plan here. Now it's kind of ruined.
Yeah, Rikke jumping past the door. Getting hit through the wall, I presume. Still alive. Xantares delivering a kill. I think the bomb's been spotted now. So I think success will be very limited. Indeed, it will be. Has Big take the lead. Limited for Complexity. Nothing doing in that particular round. Just use of utility. Gobby telling his team, don't give them any this and that. Constantly keeping his team focused on the task at hand. And we have a tactical timeout being called by Stanislaw for the Complexity side. Started very well, but now it's been 6 rounds in a row for Big.
Indeed, yeah, they're looking really, really good at this point. It's going to be difficult to break that momentum. And we haven't really seen any crazy aggressions from them. I mean, mostly the rounds that have looked kind of aggressive early is the rounds where Complexity have tried to go for fast mid timings, and Big have just defended them pretty well. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we begin to see more defaults into delayed mid takes coming out from Complexity, something that's a bit more standard and safe to get map control. We'll see here. Def bouncing the HE to catch Tizian, but there's the aggression from B over towards B main here. Let's see what they can get. The flashbangs make this very awkward. They're both in a corner. This is not good, but Smooya is not blind enough. He will still get the shot onto Stan, who was very blind, and they can just about make their way out of dodge. I can't believe it.
Smear falling back with the advantage. I think that there was some temptation to go battle sniper and go for the second one, but deemed it not necessary. He's still got Godby there while Smear runs distraction, and nothing doesn't have the manpower to peek checkers to see if anybody's there because he's exposed to the site as well. So there's not a lot that Complexity can do towards B at this juncture. A man down. Ricky starting to creep towards A main in the meantime, while Smear still looks for something towards B. Nothing starting to fall off. But the vent has been popped, and it seems they're going back towards B, but this really could be nasty for them.
Oh, the flash is perfect. The flash is perfect, and that just ruins everything here for Complexity, because now they've just got to force their way in. They wanted Ricky to be able to like delay, and they had no idea about Godby. He's still just there the entire round, James. They had no idea.
Yeah, his teammates lost, but everything is rescued. tabseN gets the AWP, and they're good to go. 7-5 now for Big. 7 rounds in a row for Big. Nothing is 1 for 9 on this T side. It hasn't been looking good for him. In fairness, in the rounds they were winning, Stanislaw was pretty much killing everybody 9-0, but now it's time to pull the socks up and get on the server. 2 snipers for Big. Smuya and tabseN. tabseN a dab hand with the AWP as well. He will be going towards the A site with Xantares. Holding an off angle. Ricky making his way towards Squeaky. Nothing starting slow towards B.
Very slow indeed. Catching Stanislaw with a bit of damage and just popping open the door. This is to create presence, to bait out grenades. You can see 2 incendiaries now popped immediately. So just by opening a door, that's a pretty good trade. Ricky will continue to harass through that door, trying to get information. His teammates, meanwhile, will take middle. So this is great for Complexity. They're getting all the ground. Oh, lots of pressure. Oh, he goes for the follow-up, but the Galil might be a bit optimistic at that range. And indeed, 4 versus 4 now is Big. Once again, have Godby pushed in pretty deep, and finally he'll go down.
Smear is outside the B bomb site. They're making his way through checkers. I don't know if Ricky's heard the rotation, because Big have abandoned the A bomb site and Ricky's still in Squeaky. Someone's got to go and collect the bomb though, so regardless of where they go, it's going to be one person on the site. They're trying to battle on B, and now there's no one to rotate the bomb. Ricky's stuck on it like, hey guys, it's clear. Guys. Everyone's there though, and he'll be the last one to fall. Xantares going back to shoot him in the face. 8-5 for Big. 8 rounds in a row for Big.
Yeah, great shots coming in from Smear there. It's really, really nice double from him. And life is starting to look rather grim for Complexity. They've really been struggling since they lost that momentum. Stan does call a timeout. And now they'll discuss. And here it is. Beautiful couple, very fast frags from Smear. You can see that he's already bang on nothing before his crosshairs even appeared ready. And Smear's mechanics is one of the things that he is famed for. It's one of the things that makes him special, is how clean and strong his mechanics and raw talent is when it comes to aim.
Rumor has it one of the other things that makes him special is his lust for Tesco value prawn sandwiches. Not sure if that's true or not. Probably false. I'm lying. I just made that up.
That's disgraceful. That's true.
It's not true. Probably not true anyway. 99.9% chance it's not true. Pistol, smokes, and flashes for Complexity. Success seems in the distant past for them. A nice pop-up from tabseN. Pop-up shot with an AWP. He's taking money. Teammate down. Could have been 2. It was 0. Trying to support with the P250. Battle sniper jumping past. Hello. 180 from him. He's going MLG mode. And suddenly the Stanislaw alone. He's still got the bomb. Making his way towards the B bomb site. High chance he gets a bomb plant out of this. Choosing to go towards mid instead. He doesn't have the range, but it still gets the kill. I don't know how you can kill with a Tech-9 these days. Trying to collect a weapon. Jump spotting at the same time. Grenades going through. And that might send the gun away, but no. It'll send it to a safe place. 11 bullets. Can have a look. Reload when he knows it is safer. Spots one player, whereas the second one running out of bullets, drawing the gun again. Getting kind of awkward for Stanislaw. Doing the best he can against the odds, but Big will prevail once again. 9 rounds in a row, 9-5 for Big.
Very nice from tabseN. It's a little bit awkward, but it kind of works out for a nice trio of kills. And that AWP got to be there for support, and 9-5, 9 rounds in a row, James. 9 in a row. That's not going to feel good for Complexity. They do have a good buy, at least in the last round. Perhaps they can get the 6th round on the board, and then they, you know, that's not bad. That's fine. That's fine.
1-2-2 set up from Big, and look at the aggression towards B. Smooya and Gob are seizing control in the last round. Smooya will hold angle while Gob continues to get aggressive, but as you can see, pretty much all the Complexity, all that remains are in A main. Xantares has a lot to do. Taking a funky angle around the forklift position, starting to move as the grenade set in. Gobi going towards T-spawn, Smooya close to useless, but we need rotation towards A here for Big.
Yeah, very nice. Molotov there coming in from Xantares to slow things down. And he actually burns down Stanislaw. I think the flashbang that he threw as a follow-up did so much damage. He's just running around the smoke. He hasn't seen anybody yet, but he's done so much for the team. Now Shazam in close quarters. So many targets. It's a great shot, but it's just too little. And that's a 10-5 scoreline from Big. And that, I felt like that was a great strat, James. Just burst through the smoke. There's one guy on the bomb site. How do they not get it?
10 rounds in a row for Big after a good start for Complexity. Big just took control of that one. And now it's, well, I mean, maybe we have a change of fortune. Who knows what to expect in the second half on Cash. Big moving to the T side. That means that Xantares is going to have an AK-47. And I fear for everybody else on the server.
Look at him polishing his mouse, James. Don't see too many people doing that.
So, well, sometimes you've got to get the human oils off.
Yep.
Keep it clean.
Do you know what? So a friend of mine, he...
Do you have a friend?
Yeah, a friend of mine called Vince. He used to be a 1.6 player, and he brought me some grip that's used on Glocks, and because what he did is he tries like using that grip on the mouse to increase
an adhesive grip.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like the grip that you find on the Glock itself is the one that he gave me, and he basically said, like, try this, like you know, having more consistent, more reliable grip on the mouse. And I was thinking about it. It does actually make sense for for consistency. Obviously, it's like a small thing, and
if you can keep a consistent grip, because obviously a mouse like his, the human oils will just make you feel a bit uncomfortable. The human oils. If you oil humans, then don't get it on your mouse. Well, anyway, Complexity now on the CT side. What do Big have in store? All eyes towards Godby's brain. 3 flashes on the T side and 2 smokes. They've got a few decoys as well. 2 decoys, a couple of decoys. Def having a look in A main. Spotting some players. Doesn't, well, he manages to avoid getting headshot. Did he see the bomb on the radar? I would say yes, considering now we've got 4 players focused on the A bomb site. Shazam in position for a quick rotation, keeping an eye on the T entrance to mid. Smoke down for the cross. Maybe looking for a response. Spotting Shazam saying hello. Taking one in the face. The bomb's been dropped, however, and it's going to be a giant battle on this A bomb site.
Def around the side. Oh, so many bullets fired. He needed a quick one. Now he's in trouble. He'll get taken down. Stan trying to do what he can once again. Trying to make a repeat of that last pistol victory, but he'll be exploderized. There's now nothing is left in the 1 versus 3. There's one looking for the rest, but the double peak will be enough to finish him off. And that's the 11-5. Big starting off very well. And that's the nightmare for Complexity.
With all the action on A, Smooya came in late lurking from mid and killed 4 players ultimately, so monstrous stuff. Big distraction from Big, no pun intended, and Smooya cleaning up from that mid position. And there is Xantares probably saying nice. Even when people are communicating in a foreign language, like the Russians, for example, we often saw them saying nice at the Face It Major and Miners, which was pretty cool. Now we've got the MAC-10 out, the money maker. He's at the fairground collecting all the tickets.
Boost the MAC-10 in there, yeah, let's go. Trying to make some cash. There it is. Yes, delicious. Delicious frags. Last man spotted. Let the MAC-10 do the rest.
If frags are delicious, does it mean that you lick your monitor?
No, James. That doesn't really make sense, though, does it?
And hey, lots of things happen on the internet, man. I just had to check. 12-5, triple org for Complexity. This is religious for them. They must. They have to. There is no other choice. Only 5 rounds on the board. They must find success soon because I'm losing count of all the rounds. Well, actually, I'm not. It's 12 rounds in a row for Big.
Indeed, it's not looking good. Smooya with the peak. Ricky on the angle first, though. But he's only got Nord. He goes deep. Oh, straight into the reticle of Smuya. And well, at least Ricky gets the information. Flashbang out. Got to be careful. That's a miss and a half. Xantares looks for the follow-up. The next player coming in to rotate. That's an easy one for Xantares. Catches nothing, moving from position to position. And now Complexity is in some serious trouble.
They don't commit to the B bomb site. Wherever they choose to go, Complexity will likely be stretched. Shazam is basically playing a safe situation now. He's moved far away from the B bomb site. Stanislaw keeping an eye on mid at the white box position, and Def, I'm not sure if he's boosted or on Squeaky from my radar. Okay, there he is. He's boosted up, so he could have a big impact because there's nobody on short to catch him from his right-hand side because Stanislaw has mid. Shazam having a look now as well. Will it be good timing because Stanislaw here's one close. Does Shazam go deep? He doesn't. Stanislaw falling back. Squeaky is open for business. And so is Def's Org 1, 2. Going for third, but doesn't quite get it.
It's not going to be so big. Shazam at least picks up the player from Highway. The bomb is in the open. The flashbang might allow it to be collected. Indeed, he'll go for it as Shazam is very worried about his flank, but the bomb's still in the ground. He's going to check for that. Spots it. Now sees it's gone. So now he knows his one's on the site, but it's not enough. Tafson comes in with a timely flank to finish it off 13-5. And the money, the guns, if they've been wiped clean for Complexity. Press the reset button on that Etch-a-Sketch. Do you have one of those, James?
Didn't have money for an Etch-a-Sketch.
No.
I had Pogs, a pack of cards.
Pogs are good, man.
And like a teddy bear or something. 5-13. HE grenade is not much more for Complexity. Dominance from Big so far. Heavy favorites coming into this match. And they're showing us why.
Absolutely, yeah. They're looking really good. They have so much firepower, it's kind of nuts. And you back it up with Golby and how well he's been running this unit. And it's looking really, really impressive. And they've just found that flow. Obviously the first 5 rounds were difficult, but as soon as they broke that, it's just been flow states. Hello.
This is what you want to see. Xantares and an AK.
Yep.
This is what we came to see.
I feel like all those hit. In my mind, all those hit.
Xantares always hits. It's just down to the server to register.
He's just like hitting dudes in different dimensions.
Stanislaw and Ricky remain. So 5-14. There will be no ninja defuse in this round. Tracking. When you've got to control the spray as well, can get difficult. Down to the block, and he will deliver the kill finally. Stanislaw now will dive to the bomb instead. No kill bonus. Does he make it to the AK? That would be crazy. No, he doesn't. Shrapnel to the back. He was vaporized. 14-5 Big.
Xantares, boom. That's some great spray control right there, the recoil control. Very nice. Okay. It's looking pretty smooth here from Big. It doesn't really seem like there's much that Complexity have. I mean, they go for the double AWP setup now, Ricky and Shazam, and you'd really hope that this would be what could stop it. For Complexity as well, you really want to throw off Big's pacing by trying to get an early pick somehow. That would be really, really nice. And you can see they've been favoring that. That smoke grenade has in one round earlier on not been too great for them, but generally they've been doing a great job at getting mid-control when they really want it. Let's see if Complexity can find that pick I was talking about. They got the 1-3-1 setup, so it will be difficult.
Normal grenades being thrown towards B, the Molotov to push any snipers or otherwise away from the usual position, but Ricky has one of his own. A peek before a smoke and Xantares is dead. That's a big first frag, and I don't know if that Dev's position has been revealed, but just in case, that is a massive second frag from him. How on earth did he track that? 2 versus 4 in favor of Complexity as Big look to push towards B, but the police are coming. The red light is flashing, and now it's Smuya versus the world. He's got 45 seconds to do what he can. So he's got time to go for a pick in the mid position. Jumps straight into the eyes of Shazam, however, and maybe he was asking for a little too much.
Indeed, but there's so much of a buffer of rounds for them to work off of that there's very little pressure at this point for Big. They got a lot of money for this round at least. They're looking at like, actually, they don't have any money left after this round, but if they lose it, but doesn't really matter too much at this point.
Compulsive lie down.
So three orgs, 2 AWPs in for Complexity. And if they lose this round, their money's so broken that you can't expect them to really do it in the following one. So really, in that sense, there's only one chance, and they have to make it in this round. You don't often see that this position yielding a kill.
I don't know if Smuya saw the player standing on the white box there as he jumped off the angle, then went straight back up again. But either way, opportunity lost if a peek was had by Complexity. Minute 22, preemptive Molotovs for Complexity. So Big are doing a good job of expanding the, exhausting rather, the utilities of Complexity. Shazam, he has hit that shot, but he'll hit Tacit instead. That's 2 plays spotted in main. That's a big clue for the CT side, and it is a full rotation as he delivers another kill.
Shazam is doing excellent work from this position, and he's still doing more if he can get something else out of this, but no, but he's perhaps done enough because he's bought so much time for his team and information as well. Still a struggle for Big to get onto the bomb site, but they have got B, they have Smuya trying to force their way in. Headshot not found there by got B, and that's all the chance that nothing needs to take him down. Up to Smuya now in the 1 versus 3, just 2 players left to go as he goes for the wide shot. It connects, one more to find, and he's good. 15-6 Big. Match point for them.
4K from Smuya, he's really happy with that. 28 frags for Smuya. Showing up Xantares, the new signing of Big. Shazam doing what he could on the A side. But it wasn't enough, unfortunately. Match point for Big on Cash. Is he super happy with that?
That was excellent.
Haven't won just yet, though. Keep your focus.
Look at the buy here for Complexity. It does suck so much. It ain't good. Nah, what a clutch. I mean, I feel bad for Shazam. I feel like Shazam played the quad position so well also. That's like so hard what he was doing. The dance backwards and forwards there for both sides. Vying for A main control. Ooh. Oh dear. Now goes Xantares.
Well, looks like it's the end of the line in this match for Complexity, or is it? Doing what he can. A spray, he's got a bomb. He might have time to reload as well. Spotting players in mid. Knows there's a guy Squeaky doing what he can, but it's not going to be enough. 16-6, a dominant, strong performance from Smuya and the rest of Big on Cash to take it 2-0.
Yes, I mean, today, Big looked the most convincing of the teams that we've seen, I would say. Cloud9 and, of course, FaZe also looked pretty good, but Complexity, I think it was a stylistic struggle as well. I think Complexity will likely have better performances in some of the other matchups that they could find themselves in, so not all is lost for them. But for Big, this is really a celebration of how smooth they look from the get-go with Xantares.
That's a great statement, and it was a joy to hear the calls of God Beef throughout that series. The two teams will shake hands, and it's back to the drawing board for Complexity, as both teams will continue in this tournament, just in different parts of the bracket. Now, we will head to break, and when we're back, thoughts of the desk on our second match of the day.
Today we fight for honor, and we will not fear the enemy.
And then Bob, smile for the camera. Drink for the camera. Nice refreshing E-League water. It's pretty good, right?
It's a Red Bull, and it's not for commercial.
Let's go, let's go. We didn't win yet, okay? I want to win.
I guess that speech worked.
Smooth.
No, he's done it.
Smooth.
It hurts.
Jason refused to do it with me, so.
It's good for the good of all humanity. It's at the same
Maybe I'll do it
level
with
as
you tomorrow.
dabbing. It's for me.
I'll have the crowd,
Yeah,
the crowd doing
dab
it.
and the Smooya chants are the same level.
Really? Wow, does Smooya know of your insolence?
No, I like Smooya just fine. I just
Yeah, but you just the chance. The chances. All right, well, welcome back everyone to the desk here as Big will crush Complexity 2-0. They will be moving on to tomorrow's game where they will face off against Cloud9. But first up, let's take a look at some of these highlights here. And we had a really crazy start. Just want to point this one out, man, because Stanislaw, okay, I peep, because as soon as God B peeps, he gets shot in the face.
Yeah, Stanislaw was
Very well
on
done.
fire to kick off this map. They started a 5-0 Complexity in this match. They then lost 16 out of the next 17 rounds. So I don't really care what happened in the first 5 rounds
No,
anymore.
you forget about it so quick,
Yeah.
don't you? That was unreal performance from Big once they got 5-0 down. I don't even really know. Smooya really was. I mean, the chants are actually deserved because he had an incredible game with the AW, styling on him all game, but they just couldn't get anything going, and which was weird. This is their map pick. They had to feel comfortable on it, and they probably just got shot.
Just a lot of moments there, right? Where you see just players kind of just like chasing after one strand, like one like stray player that's trying to just ward them around. It was kind of hurting them like goats a couple times.
You could see it once Big got on the T side, though. It really was like some pretty easy fights for the big guys to win because they were just peeling them across the map, and it was really tough for Complexity to get 2 players at the point of contact.
Yeah, by the time Big hit T-side, they were playing with so much confidence. You can see that first gunner, I think Smooya killed Ricky pushing B, and immediately Xantar just goes off on a rogue mission, and I think kills Jordan in the B-bomb site. They were just so fearless at that point. They had nothing to lose. They had so much momentum. And they just rolled with it all the way till the end.
That's where Cash hits like a critical mass. When one team starts to feel that confident and that kind of momentum behind them, Cash is one of those maps that just so fastly it just slips away from you.
Helps that you got Smooya busting out 28 kills in that game, just dominating the competition, but that is going to be big. They move on, and Complexity, I mean, well, we highlighted how well Big played, but Complexity, they're going to have a big matchup tomorrow against FaZe. We'll cover it in a little bit, but just thoughts on Cole and what happened there and what they can maybe do to adjust for tomorrow.
I thought they looked good in the first map. I honestly did. They lost both pistols in a map that they don't typically play. The second map, I thought they started so well. I literally don't know what happened. I mean, to lose 16 out of 17 rounds, that's a serious problem. And, I mean, they looked totally outclassed in that second match.
I said it in the pregame. I think this team is just going to take a little bit longer to gel than most of the other roster changes. They lost a couple of their heavy hitters from the major that got on that legend spot. They lost CA, they lost Android, and for whatever reason, whether it's justified or not, those guys brought a lot of firepower. Young players that were able to frag, and now you're coming in with two roster changes. It's going to take a little bit of time for this lineup to work itself out. They don't have the aggressiveness of those 2 young guys.
Yeah, they're gonna have to give them we're gonna have to give them a little while to be able to gel together here. Makes a lot of sense, and a big opportunity for Cole as well moving into tomorrow. Maybe they can get that upset against FaZe. It's gonna be really rough, but we'll cover that in a little bit. For now, though, we actually have Smix, who's over at the Cheez-It Lounge with Neo.
Yes, I'm here with the one, Neo Gapi himself. Congratulations, Gapi. You're moving on to tomorrow for that winners match. You were going up against Complexity, which is a team that coincidentally beat you guys twice at the previous major. I know that it was a different roster, but still has to feel good to get that revenge.
Yeah, for sure. We didn't underestimate them. It's a tournament what everything can happen, I think. And I think they played well. Yeah, and like I felt like also on Cash we break them. Like I think the mentality was something like that, and yeah, then it was kind of an easy game after that. But before that, I think a lot of rounds were really close, and they played really well. I think before that.
Yeah, definitely. Overpass was definitely a lot closer than Cash for sure. And I know it was just one best of 3, but if you had to compared to the Complexity that was playing at the major with Android and Ye, how would you say this team feels different?
This team feels definitely more experienced, and I feel like they remind me a little bit of the old Fnatic. Like in the X-on-X situations, they play really slow. Like they don't make like easy or stupid mistakes, as you can say. And I felt like that this was a little bit surprising for me as well. So they played like I could feel their experience, to be honest, and that was like the I think the biggest change from game style, and also like you can't really compare it because on the major they were obviously on their high, and they also played really good strategically in that case, and a team needs to have like a little bit more time to go there, and if they go there with this roster, I think they can be really great team.
And speaking of having time with the team, I know that you guys have made a very recent change to your roster. XANTARES only joined at the end of last year, so how has that been working him into the lineup? Have you had to change where people are playing? Did you have to make some compromises?
Yeah, we had to change obviously some stuff, but not really compromises. It's like we have another weapon now, and the weapon is really sharp, and that's why we play around him. And yeah, the problem was coming into this tournament, we played really, really loose in the pracs, really aggressive, and sometimes that's on LAN not that easy because you don't play the same way sometimes, and that's what we need to get used to. But he bring obviously really aggressiveness into the game, and I like it, and I hope we can put that into a bigger system maybe later. But at the moment we will stay like we practiced.
And just out of curiosity, I was looking at the lineup that you guys have, and you have Turkish, German, and from the UK. So when it comes to communication, have there been any issues, or has it been going pretty okay so far?
To be honest, it has been really good. I thought we would have more problems with XANTARES, but his English, like his in-game communication, was much better than I was thinking. And I think also it was like he's much more talkative than I thought, and he plays like his rotations positions with a lot of decision making. He talks a lot, like says also what his teammates gonna do. So that was really surprising in a good way, and I hope we can keep it up. Obviously, like he needs maybe like 1 or 2 more weeks to get absolutely used to English, but in game it's really good so far.
That's absolutely fantastic to hear. And in addition to you guys, we also saw Cloud9 has been making some changes with Zellsis coming into the lineup. We saw them 2-0 phase earlier today. They were looking pretty solid. So from your perspective, having watched those games, did they impress you?
Yeah, for sure. They played really well. They played also really slow Counter-Strike mixed with a fast Counter-Strike, and they played really well. Also, I thought also like FaZe played not that bad. Like sometimes if FaZe lose, you say, yeah, they were not on top. Maybe they are not yet, but I felt like Cloud9 was the better team, not because FaZe was worse today, because they were just better today.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how that winners match will go tomorrow. Congratulations again. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Let's head back to Golden Boy to wrap up day number 1 here at the ELEAGUE Invitational.
Thank you so much, Smix, and some great insights there from Gabi, without a doubt. I
see that smile for him when he's talking about XANTARES? He's like, I have a new weapon to play with.
I like how he says he's Neo, but he dropped a Drago line.
He did drop a Drago line.
Broke them.
On Cash, we broke them.
But I do want to comment that, though, because seeing that XANTARES is another weapon, that is like... That's a bold statement. Like they clearly knew what they were getting out of this guy, and so far so good. It's been paying off for them. Can they keep this going, though, is the question.
Yeah, it's very weird because XANTARES takes a lot of fights that you don't typically see in Gob B systems, right? He's very aggressive, like Gob said, but Gob wants it. He wants that aggression, so that's good.
Yeah, well, he's the one.
It's gonna be tough against Cloud9. I was actually surprised that Gob gave so many props to Complexity, not because they played badly, but because they were just able to steamroll them. And I think when you go up against Cloud9, you're going to see the different positions. You're going to see, I think, a little bit more individual skill matching up. So Cloud9 is going to be a far tougher test for them.
Yeah, that matchup's going to be very exciting when we get to it. But let's actually look at the schedule and what we're going to be seeing tomorrow. So we're going to kick it off with FaZe versus Complexity will be your lower bracket matchup. Winner will move on. And then the loser of Cloud9 Complexity will take the task yet again. But question remains, though, is this going to be Cloud9 continuing to, I guess, like look strong here, or will Big and XANTARES and the rest of the crew just continue to, as they say on their shirts, go big? That's the question. You like that one? I think that was good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right? All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here today. Big thank you to everyone who joined us. We'll catch you tomorrow. Plenty more great games. We'll see you soon.